I believe now you can hear us. We had the opening couple minutes there delayed, and we didn't have the audio going, but I believe you guys can hear us now. But in case you missed it, I know you saw it, you just didn't hear us talking about it. Landon Casey took it from the own end zone all the way to the crib. He got the corner, and he was gone. The rest is history. Artesians couldn't have asked for a better start here, up 7-0 on top of the Grizzly Cubs.
And it's exactly what you'd love to see for the Artesians, just going out there, getting that quick score in less than 15 seconds, going out there and showing Franklin that this is not their house.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't ask to start a game better. I mean, right there, you take the corner and the rest, you know, he just turned on the wheels. And it's tough catching a guy who has some wheels like that. Landon Casey getting in the end zone once again. Man, he's got some wheels. I'll kind of go over some of the we had a whole pregame show. No one really heard it because we had the mics muted, but we kind of mentioned how, again, tough loss last week for the Artesians. They're going to have to come out, try to find their foot. And specifically, we talked about some keys to the game. We think for the Artesians, they're going to have to play some tough defense. This Franklin offense, particularly the tight end, he's a big fella going to IU. He's got a bright future ahead of him. They're going to have to take what's given, execute at a high level offensively, whether that be just throwing it down to the flat, you know, see what the defense is giving them. And they're going to have to fly around and make some big plays. Some big players are going to have to make some big plays. And right there, Landon Casey, he's checking that box. He made a huge play to start off this game. And for Franklin, they're going to have to get into a rhythm early. This offense has really struggled. So I think them trying to make some passes, get some nice runs will help them a lot. Exploit any and all weaknesses from the Artesians. You know, they will try to get something going offensively for the Grizzly Cubs. And lastly, they're going to have to try to block out this Artesian crowd. We've talked about how these fellas bring it week in and week out. These win or loss, these fans are going to show up, pack these bleachers, and they've done so far tonight.
And Kelvin English that time on the return for Franklin Community nearly found some daylight of his own to mimic Landon Casey's initial touchdown run. But fortunately, the Artesian defense was there to cut him a little bit short.
Yeah, you know, after that original touchdown run, you got to kind of like, all right, we got to fill our gaps, especially the Artesians. You know it happened. You know it could happen to you. And the ball is on the ground.
Number 83, he fumbles it. And number 3 for the Artesians, Reese Wolf, comes up with the fumble as he's running over to the sideline before being tackled out of bounds. And your Martinsville Artesians now have possession after a quick touchdown and a disastrous fumble there by Franklin Community.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really draw up a more disastrous first couple of plays there for the Grizzly Cubs right there. I mean, you take what's given, you threw it in the flat, you had a guy open for some yards right around the first down marker. But credit to the Artesians. They flowing around to the football, able to get a hand on it, punch it out, and the Artesians, just like that, they're going to have the ball back here on offense, threatening, maybe even score again.
And now out is the Artesian offense led by their junior quarterback, Chase Davis, who is currently 5th in the Mid-State Conference in passing yards. And that's got to feel good for this junior.
Yeah, I mean, he could sling it. We know they have the run game, too, with Dewey right there. Nothing much going. Looks like the D-line beat him kind of to the point of the attack. We talked about Blake Smith. That's a tight end for Franklin, who is committed to Indiana. And right there, he just kind of exploded that offensive line there for the Artesians. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Artesians try to contain him. You know, he's one of those dudes that are just a game wrecker. You know, you got a game plan around him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Artesians, you know, try to run away from him. You don't necessarily want to give him any extra opportunities to make some big plays.
And here we go, second snap for this Artesian offense as Lucas Dewey tries to find a hole, and he gets over to the side. And I think he might have gotten that first down there off his second run of the game.
Yeah, Lucas, he just runs the ball so hard. I mean, he cuts the hole, he puts his foot down, he goes, and then he gets popped about 5 yards, and then he just bounces outside, able to pick up the first down, and then some. Looks like he was actually a yard short, but just such a tough runner. And if you're the Franklin Grizzly Cubs, you really got to key in on trying to have a bunch of guys flow to the football because he's such a tough guy to bring down here.
And coming into this game, speaking of tough, he's got 457 yards, currently 4th in the Mid-State Conference. Definitely one of the top runners you need to watch out for, especially if you're Franklin Community, as this Artesian offense looks to push forward for that first down.
Yeah, I think they got it right there again. You hand it to Dewey a few times, and you had that one negative play, but other than that, I mean, they've been running this football pretty well.
And it looks like it will be another handoff to Dewey straight up the middle as he looks to push forward for 2, maybe 3 yards that time, as it will be a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, interesting to see. I think I see number 82, Landon Johnson, out there in that slot. Usually that's Landon Casey's spot. Not sure if he's still recovering from that long kickoff return to the house or what, but looks like we're having a new face out there in slot. We'll see if Artesians maybe target him.
Definitely an interesting choice to keep Casey out, Landon speaking, especially after that big kick return he had earlier.
Speaking of
like
82, right there, Johnson gets the ball right over the middle. I mean, that's just taking what's given. Chase had the option to hand it off to Dewey, but he decided to throw it over to Johnson. He made the right decision. Picks up the first down. These Artesians are rolling and going quick.
Definitely a great run-pass option that time from the junior quarterback, Chase Davis, as it looks like they will have a run that time that gets a little bit stalled out after a 2 to 3 yard gain. And these Artesians are just really pushing this forward early, straight down Franklin's throat and trying to just make them feel it early on.
They're going quick, too. I mean, we're only 9 minutes into this first quarter. Artesians, again, already scored, and they're threatening already in the red zone to score once again.
Looks like Chase Davis having a little bit of a discussion with Duggar. And here we go, 2nd and 7 here for this Artesian offense. And it looks like over on the left, number 5 for this Artesian team, Jace LaFerry, tries to shake and bake and get loose, but just doesn't find any room and gets taken down.
Yeah, he tried to make something happen over there, but a lot of defenders kind of met him pretty quickly at the point of attack, not able to get much there. But I think that score right out the gate from Landon Casey is going to come really big. You know, obviously you had a tough loss last week, and just to be able to bounce back and get a big score like that, it's just so big. And gets kind of your team going, you know, gets you in a flow. And right now, as we mentioned, Artesians rolling. They might get a free 5 here.
And it looks like Franklin did jump that time. The left edge just a little too eager over there for Franklin community. Now what you'd love to see if you're this head coach.
Yeah, again, you gotta control what you can control, you know, and Franklin right there, you get a little selfish and you get a little antsy, as we talked about in a couple previous broadcasts. You just want to go get the football, you know, and the Artesians like to have that dead ball where they don't run a play and try to get them off sides. That time it worked.
And it looks like it will be a toss that time over to Landon Casey, who's now back in the game. Definitely a great little screen pass there for Casey.
Yeah, Casey had a chance to get his 2nd touchdown of the day, but right there, able to pick up the first down. So they'll have about 4 yards to pick up 4 plays for the Artesians. Expect Lucas Dewey probably to get a couple cracks at this one.
I mean, when you've got 1st and goal with only about 3 yards between you and a beautiful touchdown, why wouldn't you want to hand it off to one of the best running backs in the Mid-State Conference?
Well, one reason is because number 5, and he just absolutely exploded that that Artesian offensive line, and we talked about him. He's a big dude, committed to Indiana. He's a beast. You got a game plan around him, and right there they stick him right up the middle, expecting the Artesians to run, and they played the right card there.
Definitely no small fry. Blake Smith, 6'3", 298 pounds of pure muscle. Just not what you'd love to see if you're Lucas Dewey trying to find a hole through that D-line.
Yeah, if number 5 is the first person I see, I'm a little nervous. Casey, how about this?
Ooh, and a nice catch there by Landon Casey. Ooh. Just trying to get that feet down early as he reaches up, grabs it, and that's another touchdown there.
Showed off the wheels earlier on the kickoff return, and right there, showing off the hands. What a catch. Goes up there, pinpoints that ball. Able to haul that one in right in the corner of the end zone. Artesians starting off hot here.
And if you're Franklin, you just got to be in shock and awe right now. You know, it's almost like they're trying to go out there, score as many points as possible in the first quarter alone so they can try and get this early clock rule going.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, as we mentioned, one of the keys to the game for Franklin, we talked about getting to a rhythm offensively. And when your first offensive play goes for positive and then you get a fumble and the Artesians get it right back, it's just really, you can't get any rhythm there. And disastrous first play for the Grizzly Cubs. And the Artesians, they take advantage and capitalize off of that turnover.
But speaking in terms of Franklin's key players, they have 2 players in the top 3 for points, in both Cole Boker and Corey Tante.
Yeah, they got a couple dudes who are just guys that are playmakers. As you just mentioned a couple of them. We talked about Blake Smith. They got some athletes, and the Artesians know it. They're going to have to try to contain those guys. Thus far today, they've contained it pretty well. You know, you're never going to argue or be mad about a 14-0 lead, especially when you're not even halfway through the first quarter.
But also, speaking of that IU commit, Blake Smith, he is currently 3rd in the mid-state with 2.5 sacks.
Yeah, if I'm Chase Davis and I see number 5 in the backfield, I'm just going down. You know, you don't want to.
It's time to start using those legs and time to get moving.
Yeah, because if you see him in your face, you better watch out, because he's coming and with not good intentions.
But it's also great when you also have someone like Adil Toei, who could also help alleviate some of the pressure off Blake Smith and force this Artesian offensive line to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, they got a couple of good D linemen, as you mentioned. Adil as well. He's a guy that's going to get to the football as well. This whole D line for Franklin, I think, very, very strong. I think this offensive line for the Artesians is going to have their handful tonight. You can see they had some success running it. Of course, Franklin had a couple of plays there where you get them in the backfield, but overall, they move the ball. And anytime you can punch it in for a touchdown, you're going to be happy.
And now this Artesian defense out there for the 2nd time today, already in the first quarter. Definitely what you'd love to see if your Duggar up a 14-0 so far. But it does look like Franklin will push this forward for about 5 or 6 yards that time off the run.
Yeah, solid run there. They got a quick guy back there in the backfield. Just as soon as you get it, you know, you go downhill, and he had a great point of attack run there, able to split the chains. So when you get in these second and manageable type of situations, you can maybe take a shot here, knowing you can rely on a 3rd, maybe 4 play call deep in your pocket if you need it.
Franklin now trying to really block out this Artesian crowd and just focus on trying to get some points on the board as they're forced all the way out left, and it looks like they will be tackled behind the line that time. From number 18 from the Artesians,
yeah, heck of a tackle there by Adam Branham. Tonti tried to get the outside, but Branham, you know, he kind of beat a couple dudes, but you just keep working the sideline. Eventually, you're going to run out of green grass. Right there, try to get the corner, but credit to Adam Branham staying home, doing his job. Brings up now a 3rd and about 6. So do you throw the ball if you're Franklin? I think you may have to test the secondary of the Artesians.
I wouldn't say a run's not still in the cards, but it definitely looks more likely that they will be going for a passing play here. So it looks like the Artesians will have to get their DBs and linebackers ready. And it does look like they will be going for pass here, but number 34 for the Artesians sneaks past the line and gets a huge sack there. Blaine Littell that time for a massive sack for the Artesians that time, and pushing Franklin all the way back behind where they were on 1st down.
Yeah, Blaine Littell looked like he went unblocked off the edge there. Not sure if Franklin had some miscommunication. I think it might have been the tight ends guy, but he went out on a route and no one picked him up, and he just went right across the edge. QB never saw him. Man, he took a hit back there. Now the Grizzly Cubs backed up 19 yards, 4th and 19. Jay Silferi set to return this for the Artesians. Looks like the Grizzly Cubs having some communication issues. They're missing one guy. He's going to have to run back out there. And they're running out of time. Play clock, I think, expired unless they got a timeout.
And unfortunately, that will be a delay of game for Franklin that time. And it's just starting to pile on here for this offense.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, anytime, you know, you get a fumble on your first drive and then you have a good play and then you have a sack and you're killing yourself. And then you got to, right there, you have the, delay again. It's going to back you up another 5, and the Artesians almost get pressure. That ball
that is
going straight to the cheerleaders. They better watch out.
And that is a not so great punt there that time from Franklin, just giving this Artesian team a way too favorable position, especially for that they've been playing in this first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get the ball where? Around the 35, I think?
Has to be.
Maybe even closer. Wow, you're going to get the ball right around the 33-yard line. I mean, that's just disastrous if you're the Franklin Grizzly Cubs. And if you're the Artesians, you're looking, hey, we're still 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Defense is playing out of their minds. Offense is clicking. We have a chance to jump out 21-0 here on the Grizzly Cubs.
Jace Davis now probably hunting for another touchdown here in this first quarter, as he
Uh-oh,
takes it.
double pass. He's open. Landon Potteroff.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
And number 11 that time, Landon Potteroff, goes in for that easy touchdown off the trick play there as the pass from number 5, Jace LaFerry, reaches him just before the end zone.
Coach Duggar really just pulling bunnies out of a hat right now. I mean, you get the double pass, you throw it to Jace LaFerry, everyone, they're going to tackle him. He gets the ball on the screen, why not tackle him? And then you forget he's behind the line of scrimmage. And, man, he just threw a beautiful ball to Landon Potteroff, the tight end, who sneaks in there. Artesians are absolutely on fire right now. About to be up possibly 21-0 halfway through this first quarter.
And that is 3 in a row for this game from Charlie Rollins.
Things just clicking on all cylinders right now for the Artesians, and I think this is just a totally different team than what showed up last week. You know, last week again, tough loss, and we're not seeing any signs of that team at all right now, because everything is just clicking. They're taking what's given, even throwing some crazy plays at them. Defense is playing well, and when everything's clicking like this, it just one thing leads to another. You just keep stacking on top of each other.
Well, this team is just eager to prove, not just to everyone else, but to themselves, that they are still a contender here for sectionals once again,
you know,
for the 3rd time in a row this year.
They are. You know, I mean, this is one of the toughest conferences in the state. And when you have teams in there like Decatur and Plainfield and White, I mean, there's just so many that are just so tough to beat. And you're going to have a bad game here and there. You're probably never going to go undefeated in the mid-state. It's almost impossible. It seems like every team's just losing at least one game every year, and it's just such a tough conference. So you're going to have tough weeks in a tough conference like that. But it's not about when you lose to those teams. It's about how you bounce back. And right now, the Artesians showing no signs of hanging their hats or anything just because of last week. They got their eyes focused on the road ahead, and right now they are rolling.
Charlie Ronald set the kickoff for the Artesians.
And now Charlie Rollins here to kick off again for the Artesians. Just a disastrous first quarter here for Franklin Community. Letting up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter is definitely not what you love to see, as they are going to be set down at around the 30-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be really important that Franklin gets something going here on offense. If they're going to want to stay and hang around in this game, just of how quickly and effectively this offense of the Artesians is scoring, you're going to have to start matching them. And right now, you got to get something going offensively. Try to take what's given. You know, they have a couple times. You know, get something going on the ground, and then you maybe try to throw something over top. But you got to take care of the football. You can't have any careless turnovers or careless penalties. And they're going to have to start, you know, slowly but surely taking what's given and starting to march down the field if they're going to want to hang in this thing.
And the Artesian defense out here again after getting a fumble, then a stop on a conversion of downs last drive. Let's see what they'll be out here to do against this Franklin Community offense, as it looks like number 41's running over to the sideline as he gets a nice gain there that time for Franklin Community. Number 41, Corey Tante.
Yeah, I think Tante, again, he just kind of taking what's given. You know, you kind of bounce around, dance around a little bit, and he's able to get the edge. And he shows he's got little wheels on him, you know, able to get the corner. Artesians struggled to bring him down. Nice solid pickup to try to get your offense rolling. And that's a great first play to see what they can do here out second.
Definitely giving this Artesian offense and defense a little bit of a reality check here, reminding them that they are no slouches.
Yeah.
And that they can play them tough no matter how far down they are.
Oh.
And it looks like they'll be taken down behind the line that time.
That's
the
a running back right there.
Number 9, Grady Gardner.
I think that was Lucas Dewey, but, man, he can play anywhere. You know, you stick him at linebacker, you got him back in the backfield, and right there he kind of shot right up the middle. Meets Tante in the backfield. Not much he could have done there. I mean, he just beat him to the spot.
And it looks like the quarterback will keep it this time, number 3, Grayson Betts.
Yeah, Betts had the had the option there to either hand it or keep it himself. Looks like he made the right decision. A lot of dudes are right there where the running back would have got it. So he just kind of takes it, darts right up the middle. But there seems to be a flag. We'll see if this one might come back.
Refs discussing here a little bit at the point of scrimmage. And
Play was over. Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards.
it does look like it'll be a personal foul that time on the defense. Back them up. Just definitely not what you'd love to see if you're this Artesian defense. You go out there, have 2 great drives where you get a fumble and then you get a turnover on downs, and now you're starting to make some costly mistakes that might affect you in the long run.
Got to control your emotions. You know, even if you're mad or doesn't matter how you feel, you got to keep your emotions in check. You can't afford, even when you're up 21-0, you can't afford to hurt your team like that. Give them an extra 15 yards and a first down. I mean, again, you're going to have them. You would have had them at about 3rd and 7, maybe even a 3rd and 8, but right there you give them a free one.
And now it looks like to be have the running back out going left, and he is wide open, number 41 for Corey Tante that time, just wide open. The Artesians didn't have anybody on him.
Yeah, Tante really just starts in the backfield, and he just runs straight to the sideline. No one picked him up, and a long throw, it seemed like, from the quarterback all the way to that sideline, but he was able to get it to him and picked up quite a bit of yards there, enough to move the first down.
And now Franklin well within field goal range as the Artesians are starting to sweat a little bit, getting 3 touchdown drives, 1 off a kick return and then 2 subsequent TD drives. They're starting to have a little bit of trouble here with this Franklin offense, but a little bit of a mistake there that time from number 13, Drew Wirtz, and a nice tackle from this Artesian defense.
Yeah, they tried the screen pass there. It looked like it was a little off timing. By the time they tried to get it to the wide receiver, it was kind of just a little late. The Artesians kind of already knew what was coming. They met him right there at the point of the attack. Didn't really get a chance to catch that one.
And now 2nd and 10 here for this Franklin community offense. After stumbling a little bit on first down, they'll definitely try and do a lot better here on 2nd and 10. Drawing the tight end then there as number 3, the quarterback Grayson Betts tries to get a little bit himself, but gets dropped, I think, just short of the first down that time.
Yeah, Betts has some leg. You know, he's shown it a couple times tonight. Whenever he gets outside the pocket, he can get downhill pretty quick right there. Gets him really close to that first down mark. Looks like they're about 1 yard. So Artesian Nation getting on their feet. Cowbells are ringing. You got to think, no matter what, Franklin gets it or not, this is 4-down territory at this point.
And you can see the Eagles down there in the student section trying to hype up this crowd to get a stop on 3rd down. However, it does look like Franklin Community might have gotten it that time, as this is now a 1st and 10 well within the goal line.
Yeah, that's a nice solid run there. You get inside the sticks, and now you got first and goal. You got 4 plays to score. Franklin really needs to get in this end zone, especially when you're down 3 scores already in a first quarter. You got to get something going, and right here they have a chance to capitalize and put some points on the board.
And that was definitely one of the keys to the game, getting into a rhythm early. And while they haven't gotten into an exact rhythm thus far, there's still plenty of time for this Franklin Community offense to try and get into a rhythm later in the game and block out this Artesian crowd to just try and get some momentum on their side.
Yeah, when this Artesian team gets rolling, that's one thing. But when you get the crowd involved too, it's a trickle effect. And when you got everyone going loud, going crazy, the team's playing well, that's a bad thing if you're on the away bleachers over there. And right now, you need to hopefully get a score to try to calm that down.
And it looks like they'll be running it again as number 4 gets it in for the touchdown, Colin Owens, that time for this Franklin Community offense. And now they're on the board with a fresh 6 points.
And that's the drive you needed. You know, you have 2 first drives that didn't go as planned. And then right there, you kind of get some rhythm going. You get a flow, kind of what we talked about in the keys to the game. They got a couple things going, and they just finally, slowly but surely, punched it in the end zone. Franklin Grizzly Cubs, not quite done yet.
And it looks like a nice little kick that time from number 99, Abram Moore, is good. And they now have 7 points on the board to try and contest the Artesians 21 with only 2 minutes and 14 seconds left in this first quarter.
Yeah, it was a huge score there for the Grizzly Cubs again. Not much going, especially offensively. Defensively, they hadn't had any answers as well. But when you finally get something going on offense, you march all the way down the field, use up some clock, finally getting a rhythm. You know, it seems like that offense is finally clicking, able to get into the end zone. Now, defensively, if you're the Cubs, you got to find a way to stop this Artesian offense. They've been pulling stuff out of a hat, like I mentioned. I mean, they can run the ball, pass the ball, and then they got a trick play. I mean, there's just so many things you got to be ready for. You never know what's going to come. And right now, this defense has got his hands full. This Artesian offense is they're rolling.
And we have Grady Gardner and Landon Casey back out there in the backfield. Casey doing well on his first kick return of the night, but so far nothing else going for this Artesian return team. Let's see if they can get something cooking here on this return.
Yeah, we'll see who they're going to kick it to. You know, Grady Gardner, of course, he's shown that he can have some pretty explosive runs on the kickoff return. And, of course, you just got Landon Casey, who took it 100 yards to the house. So you kind of want to maybe kick it away from him as well. So what are you going to do? Maybe you just pooch it and let one of the bigger guys run it.
But it does look like they'll go back to Casey this time as he's trying to find something here in this Franklin return team. And he gets stopped short just right after the 20, but it does look like there is a flag on the play.
Much better coverage there from the Grizzly Cubs. They had a lot more dudes flowing to the football. There was, as you mentioned, a flag. Usually when you see a flag like that, it is some sort of a hold. Looks like the Artesians get a block in the back. Penalty called on them, so that'll back them up 10 more. So this offense going to have their work cut out for them. You're backed up all the way on their own 13-yard line. Now 12.
And Chase Davis now in a little bit of a stressful situation after getting 2 favorable drives earlier. Let's see if he can maintain his composure under the pressure. Looks like they'll be opting for a little short pass there that time.
The Artesians just do a simple little swing pass. Give the ball to your playmakers. Grady Gardner, you get him in space, he can make some things happen right there. They try to get him on a screen pass. Nice blocking out in front, able to pick up about 7.
And it looks like there'll be another flag on the play there. 2 flags early on in this drive. Definitely slowing us down here a little bit from that fast-paced offense we were accustomed to for the first 4 drives from both teams.
I think that one was on one of the wide receivers, and I think they've had some issues trying to get a head start. They've been very antsy out there. They try to time up the snap, but you really just got to look at the ball. You know, they get a little too quick trying to jump, and they got caught right there.
And Grady Gardner getting subbed out for Lucas Dewey. Made that nice catch earlier, but now it looks like a little bit of a screen pass there to Landon Casey, who finds a little bit of room on the outside, but I think it's dropped just short of the first down.
And that place had some success here tonight. Anytime Landon Casey gets the ball in his hand, especially on a jet, it seemed to go positive. And right there, you can see he gets the ball, turns the corner, and picks up the first down for the Artesians.
But it does look like they get that first down that time from Landon Casey. Nice little jet pass. Just trying to work near the sidelines to try and get as many first downs as possible. With only 1:29 here to go in the first quarter, and what an eventful first quarter we've had.
Yeah, I mean, we've had pretty much seen a lot. You know, we've seen a fumble, we've seen a kickoff return to the crib, seen a miraculous trick play touchdown from the Artesians. They've shown they can do it all.
And if you're Chase Davis, you got such an assortment of weapons to throw through that can filter between Landon Casey, Jace LaFerry, and just any number of other receivers that have had great plays for themselves tonight, as well as turning your backs into receivers as well.
Yeah, they got a lot of dudes, a lot of weapons that can make some plays. Tough to cover if you're a defense.
And it looks like pass was right on the money that time for number 17, Riley Butler, but it just slipped through his fingers that time.
Yeah, you know, I think he kind of felt some pressure coming if he would have caught that, and he did take a hit. But you got to come down with those. You know, nice throw from Chase, hits him in the numbers. You'd like to see receivers come down with those catches.
And Chase Davis gets another chance to pass it here over to Landon Casey, who gets
Casey
a
makes
little
a
bit
couple
of room
dudes
here.
miss.
And now he makes a miss, and now he goes all the
See you
way
later.
to the house Touchdown there for Landon Casey again, his second of the day, and now it is a 27-7 lead here in the first quarter. And what a game we already have in store for us, Braxton.
Man, Landon Casey is an athlete, Quinn. He can just get it done anywhere on the field. You see right there, he gets a little out route pass. He just catches the ball, fingertips, and he just takes it. I mean, you get some nice blocking around the edge, but just when you think he's going out of bounds, he kind of tiptoes the sideline a little bit, and he gets those legs turning. And he's not going to get caught from behind, I'll tell you that. Right there, Landon Casey, yet again, scoring another long touchdown run.
And another nice kick there from Charlie Rollins. Man, he is just on fire today. He hasn't missed one in the entire game.
No, I mean, you got a reliable kicker in Charlie. You know, he's kicked a field goal early on in this season. I believe it was game 1. He's just a leg that you can trust, you know, in case you need him in certain situations where you have to settle for a field goal. When you got a guy you can rely on like Charlie Rollins, it's got to feel good if you're a coach for the Artesians, knowing you just got something in your back pocket you can kind of throw out there when things get rough. And right there, he's able to split the uprights once again. And he's got a leg. I mean, he can boot this thing. He can boot it in the end zone, too, off the kickoffs, too.
And you know, Braxton, I would not be surprised if he ends up at a college at the FCS or maybe even the FBS level for how good his kicks have been here at the Martinsville Artesian.
We talked about a couple games ago that those dual sport athletes tend to do well. You know, Charlie Rollins plays soccer as well, so usually when he has a good game on a Friday night, he's got to go around and turn around and do it again on a Saturday morning. So he's a busy guy. You know, those dual sport athletes, especially in the fall, football and soccer, they got their hands full. And Artesians going to pooch this one towards the sideline, and that one going to land in Wyatt Coach Schrake's hand. Nice catch there from him, but that'll be a penalty, and they're going to mark off some yards. Don't think that was the ideal place. Charlie Rollins wanted that one to land. Looks like the Grizzly Cubs will get it right around the 35.
And, you know, just not too bad a penalty that time for this Artesian team, but definitely a lot worse things you could have had off a kickoff return like that. You know, starting at the 35, not the worst position in the world, especially with how good this Artesian defense has been playing. You know, playing some pretty lockdown defense, only allowing 1 touchdown this quarter to the Artesians 4.
Uh-oh.
And it looks like it'll be picked off that time by this Artesian defense. Speaking of lockdown.
Oh, my gosh, he's still going?
They've got this team locked up in Fort Knox today. There's just no getting through them.
No, I mean, right there for the point of attack, you try to throw something over the middle. Someone got a hand on it, and it popped up right into Landon Potteroff. He caught the touchdown earlier at the tight end spot, showing he can make some plays on the defensive side, too. That one just popped right up in the air. It was really anyone's ball at that point. Potteroff just met it at the point of attack in the air, and he came down with it. Artesians, 2 takeaways thus far in this game. Again, we're not even through the first quarter, and the Artesians already got 28 points on the board. They have came out absolutely firing tonight, Gwen.
What a game, what a defense, what plays.
Just striking on all cylinders, everything clicking right now for the Artesians.
And it looks like there will be a flag on this play, though. Someone might have jumped off sides.
You know, I talked about it. It's receivers. I think that one was another receiver. They get a little antsy, and they want to catch a pass.
They want to be that first one out of the gate to just try and be open at any time for Chase Davis.
Yeah, you gotta wait for that ball. That one again will be on one of the receivers for the Artesians. Just a little ready to go.
Getting a little too trigger happy right now. Getting a little too excited. Got to calm down those nerves, even though you're up 28-7 in the first quarter.
So that'll back them up 10. And you never want to start like this, you know, before you can even run a play. You're backed up 1st and 20.
Definitely not a great position, but it looks like we will, and it just is soared a little bit that time by Chase Davis. He was aiming for number 17, Riley Butler. Dropped one earlier. That would have been a great catch for him if he had it in range, but unfortunately just sailed a little bit that time.
I can see why Riley Butler's ready to go there. He knew that one was coming to him, and he was a little too much ready to go on the first play, and even the second play as well. He wanted to get off and run that route, but right there, just a little bit overthrown. He did have a step on him, though, showing that speed.
And calling over Landon Casey there for a fake
Got him, man.
jet pass.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
it looks like it sailed a little bit that time, too, for Casey. Not what you'd love to see, but
Yeah, they try to get Casey running up the sideline there. Looks like there is a flag in the backfield.
this might be a little bit of a saving grace for this Artesian team, or it might be another curse to add on to this drive, which has just been riddled with penalties so far. And it does look like
It was a holding against this O-line, but when you have a chance to make it a 2nd and 30 or a 3rd and 20, I think I'm taking the 3rd and 20 all day. So now Artesians, you're most likely going to see some sort of screen, maybe a jet pass right there.
And it does look like they'll give it to Casey
Whoa.
again, but he gets knocked a little bit short that time, and another flag comes out on the play.
Yeah, not much on the edge there. The Artesians tried to get it, but good play by the corner there for the Grizzly Cubs. But let's see what this flag is on. If it's on the Artesians, I'm sure the Grizzly Cubs will decline. Oh, that'll be on the defense. Illegal use of hands.
Does look like the Artesians get a little bit of a saving grace here on 3rd and forever. Get a replay of this 3rd down. And you get a little closer to the sticks that time,
Yeah,
too. Back
they'll
to
pick
about
up.
where you were originally.
They'll pick up the free 10 yards, so now you'll have about a 3rd and 10 after
Definitely.
that penalty from the Grizzly Cubs.
And, you
Not
know,
ideal.
They might actually go for a pass this time, a little bit of a forward pass, maybe even a slant or an in route to just try and get some quick yardage. Maybe go for a field goal or maybe try and pick up this 1st down. It looks like Chase has got his man on the left, and it is just dropped there, slipped through the fingers of Jace LaFerry. Just not what you'd love to see after getting such a little bit of a saving grace there on 3rd and 20.
Yeah, all you got to do if you're Chase Davis is give him a chance, and he did it. I mean, right there, he threw it right where he needed to be. But that one just got to come down if you're the receivers.
But it does look like they'll be going for it here on 4th and 10. Duggar being a
Yeah.
little aggressive here in the first quarter, even
I
though
mean,
they're up 28-7.
If you punt, you know, you only got about 35 yards to punt it, so not really, you don't gain much from a punt here, so might as well try to get something in the air.
And Chase trying to air it out over the center and is intercepted that time by Franklin Community. And it does look like it'll be number 29 that time.
And he's got some
For this
blockers.
Franklin Community. Tyler Denny as he's trying to take it all the way. My mistake, it looks like it's number 26, Isaiah Stultz, and he nearly got a return to the house, but he stopped just short at the 10-yard line, and that will do it for your first quarter of play.
Yeah,
and
looks
what
like
a
we
quarter.
have, a couple of flags on the play. Credit to Landon Potteroff. He came from almost about the 5 or 10-yard line. He hustled all the way down and made a touchdown-saving tackle. What a play from number 11, Landon Potteroff, to save the save the touchdown. But there was a flag thrown right around the 30-yard line. I believe Jace LaFerry took a block to the back. Of looked like he was turned around to try to make a tackle, and I think a Grizzly Cub got him in the back. So I think they will lose some of that yards that they picked up on the return. But before we go to break, I guess we'll see what this flag's about. Refs are talking.
And this Artesian student section already fired up from the past
Yeah.
touchdowns of the day. We got the 2 Eagles down in the student section,
Yeah.
trying to just get the rest of that crowd fired up still.
Yeah, we got the Bald Eagles, as you mentioned. Yeah, it looks like it's a American Patriotic Night themed for the student section. They're all red, white, and blue out there, showing their school spirit. Get a long conversation here from the referees. Let's see.
Might have just been a little bit of a disagreement there on who had the penalty or when.
If the penalty is on the Grizzly Cubs, this could really set them back.
Multiple fouls, all after the interception. We had a block in the back on the return team.
There was a block in the back against the Artesians. And another personal foul
The passing team
on the Artesians.
offset.
And they will offset, so
A blindside block on the return team. That penalty will be assessed from the spot of the foul. And we have
there's a block in the back on the Artesians. And an block in the back against the Grizzly Cubs.
As well as some.
Yeah, there was an unsportsmanlike conduct against the Artesians. Again, you got to control what you can control. And those are just such controllable penalties. And right there, you can't have that happen. And there was also a blindside block against Franklin. And that penalty will be enforced. So you have the unsportsmanlike and the block in the back that cancel out. But they will enforce the blindside block. That happened by the Grizzly Cubs. And they looks like we'll have the ball. As of right now, around the 35, looks like they're going to mark off some more yards.
And we will be flipping the fields now as well as starting our second quarter. Artesians up 28-7 after just a great offensive masterminded quarter. Both on kick returns, touchdowns, and some great defensive plays, both a fumble and an interception for this Artesian defense.
I mean, that first quarter, it felt like a full game. I mean, we literally had everything you could think of in that first quarter. And, we usually take a break after the first quarter, but after some miscommunication, we weren't sure what was really happening on the field, so we'll keep it here. 28-7 lead for the Artesians. So it will be a 1st and 10 for the Franklin Grizzly Cubs. And again, you would have had the ball right around the 15-yard line going in Artesian territory, but now you got the ball deep in your own territory.
It looks like this Artesian defense will definitely have a little bit more favorability here after those costly penalties for Franklin. And an outside run that time for Franklin Community just doesn't go anywhere. The Artesians stop him about around the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the Artesians, they just flow the football so well. You know, you're never going to see one guy just trying to make a tackle. You're going to see a bunch of guys just kind of going in. And right there, you just see a bunch of Artesians just flowing to the football. And you got 3 or 4 guys really at every tackle.
Does look like Franklin taking a little bit longer than normal to try and think of a play here to try and disrupt this Artesian defense's momentum and try and get some rhythm back into their game.
You know, again, they struggled on the first 2 opening possessions, but that third possession, they really played how they want to play. You know, slowly but surely kind of just inching down the field. You get a couple passes, you mostly run the ball, and you finally get in the end zone. It seems like they're trying to get that same type of drive they've had, but they really just haven't been able to find it thus far. Again, you had the pick last time. You throw it, and it gets tipped at the line, and then the Artesians able to get the interception. So they just really struggled and kind of really shot themselves in the foot a lot this game. So if they can kind of clean that up and just play their way of football, not making any turnovers, they can, they're right in this thing.
And it looks like an Artesian will get past the line there, but no luck as he gets it out. But the Artesian defense is there to stop the receiver before any gain is made. And it looks like there will be a little bit of a tackle for loss that time from Franklin as it forces them to back it around a 4th and 8.
Yeah, I couldn't tell who that number was, but they tried the screen pass. Lucas Dewey was running free to the quarterback. Luckily, he got it out, but as soon as he did, the running back was well hawked down. And I'm not sure which Artesian defender that was, but they just absolutely crushed him. Read it like a book there, so the Artesians going to get the ball here after Grizzly Cubs are forced to punt.
And another punt here for Franklin. Definitely not in their favor this game so far, as it looks like Casey will just try and find some room here, but none is found as Franklin finally manages to wrap him up on a solid punt return.
Yeah. So the Artesians will have the ball here once again, right around that 50-yard line. The Artesians, they've had favorable field positions here in this game. You know, you get the ball around the 50 here. They've had obviously a couple solid kickoff returns, and of course you had the Casey touchdown. So they just had a couple of things fall their way, and whenever you can start the ball right around the 50-yard line, you're always gonna feel pretty good about that. Got a lot less yards to work with.
Chase Davis hands it off to Dewey for the outside run. Doesn't get much that time, but still a very physical run that time from Lucas Dewey.
And he's a physical runner. We've talked about it. He kind of uses that forearm there to try to get a stiff arm and able to make something out of nothing.
Little conversation between Duggar and Davis here, trying to dissect this Franklin community defense. Looks like it'll be another handoff to Dewey as just a nice little tunnel is made by that offensive line, and Dewey exploits it and gets way closer to the first down.
Yeah, again, Dewey just puts the foot in the ground, goes downhill. Right there, he took a couple shots, able to hang on to the football. So now 3rd and about 2. Expect the Artesians to probably try to get him to jump off sides. If they don't, expect number 8, Lucas Dewey, getting this ball right up the middle.
Looks like it'll be another handoff to Dewey here as he's got a nice little room to run, but unfortunately is stopped by a nice little tackle there from that time from number 5, Blake Smith, making his presence felt again. But unfortunately, Lucas Dewey is just too strong to bring down, and he gets the first down for the Artesians.
Yeah, Dewey knew where the chains were there. You know, he kind of knew he only had to get one, so as soon as you get touched, just dive for that first down. Does it there, able to pick up the first down, keep this drive alive.
And it does look like Potterov is out there at tight end. Had an interception on the defensive end earlier. Nice little pick that time as Casey gets some little room on the outside left there and gets a little bit of yardage there for a 2nd and 5 or a 2nd and 6.
And he's dangerous. You know, the Grizzly Cubs, they ought to know by now. You got the 2 long touchdown runs that when he gets the ball and he goes upfield, you gotta flow to the football because you give him any open space and he's gone.
You just got to wrap around him quick or else he's going to squirm free and get plenty of yards.
Artesians going quick here. Want to get a quick snap, and they got it right to Dewey.
And now a 3rd and 4 here for the Artesians. Franklin definitely feeling the pressure. If they allow another touchdown, the floodgates could just open at any moment, and they would just be flooded, and before they know it, this game could be over.
Yeah, you got to contain this offense. You know, it's tough. And really the only thing that's kept the Artesians from scoring tonight is themselves.
And it does look like it'll be a nice little pass over there to the right for Jace LaFerry. Got well past the first down marker and some more.
A solid route there from LaFerry. Has an in-breaking route. Nice throw there from Davis. Puts it on the money. LaFerry catches and does the rest. Able to pick up the first down and more. Again, the Artesians looking to go pretty quick here.
And it looks like it'll be a outside handoff to Dewey as he is just nearly flipped there.
He got absolutely, looked like he got split in half. And he pops right up, but I have a feeling he's going to feel that one tomorrow. That one looked a little, a little rough.
Franklin Community has had no lack of physicality here tonight, but has just had no luck stopping this Artesian offense no matter what they try.
Yeah, this has been a very physical game. I mean, both teams have been hitting really hard, flowing around, just smacking each other.
Looks like it'll be another handoff to Dewey as he runs well outside, makes a few people miss, and it looks like he is there for that first down. Now a 1st and 10, well within the shadow of the field of the end zone, as this Artesian team is just rolling.
Yeah. They are rolling again. When you get Dewey going downhill like that, he's just such a tough guy to stop, and usually one guy is not going to make the play right there. He gets going downhill. A couple of Franklin dudes is what it's going to take to bring him down.
And it looks like yet another handoff to Dewey, but that time he is stopped behind the line by Blake Smith, making his presence felt once again.
And that's why he's going to IU right there. You have a double team on the left side, and he just absolutely splits the double team, goes right through the offensive line, and absolutely obliterates Lucas Dewey.
Well, I mean, weighing almost 298 pounds, I'd say he's worth almost 2 of the Artesians' offensive linemen.
Yeah, I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with on the defensive end. And like I mentioned, the Artesians, you got to think that they've been game planning against him all week. And when you try to run it away from him, and right there, it doesn't matter. He's on the opposite side, just kind of runs through the offensive line. There's really nothing you can do. I mean, you're trying to run the ball away from him, but if he's just going to float the football like that, that could be trouble.
Not to mention another plus 200-pounder, Adil Towie. Definitely going to be tough for this Artesian offensive line to try and contain both of those guys, with some of them just being almost impossible to stop just based off how big they are. And it looks like Chase Davis getting a little pass here over to the right for Landon Casey. Just a nice little gain that time of maybe 6 or 7 for about a 2nd and 12.
Yeah, just taking what's given on the outside there. Casey makes a nice grab, picking up some yards.
And 5:30 here left to go in the second quarter, and it feels like this quarter's definitely flown by a lot faster with only 2 possessions in this quarter compared to about 5 or 6 that were in the first quarter.
Yeah, this seems like this game just has had a lot. You know, we're already almost dark, nearing an hour into this game starting time, and we've seen a lot.
And the entire offensive line collapsing there a little bit as it's passed through to Casey, who stays up and tries to score him in as he gets a stiff arm, and it looks like it might be a touchdown, but he also could have been stopped at the 1-yard line.
Landon Casey just an absolute, just doing things from all cylinders tonight. I mean, he right there, he should have been tackled in the backfield. Somehow gets out of it. He's tripping up, he's falling, then he gets up, makes another man miss. And then gets right there near the pylon. Looks like he was marked a yard short. So you got a 1st and 1. Lucas Dewey most likely going to get a touch here.
1st and 1, if you can even call this a yard. It's more like 1st and a few feet. Definitely, I feel like I know what they're going to be going for here on this 1st down. As it looks like it will be a handoff to Dewey, and he punches it in for a nice little touchdown there for this Artesian team, as now it is 34-7, and they are just piling it on throughout this game.
They are, and it just led one thing to another right there. You have a great play there by Casey, sets them up there at the 1-yard line. Lucas Dewey does the rest. Fireworks are exploding here at Cider Witts Field, and everything going right thus far for the Artesians, up big here against the Grizzly Cubs before halftime.
And I mean, what else can we say about this Artesian offense today but wow. Just wow, amazing catches, amazing runs, breakout plays. What more could you want from an offense?
They've just been playing so good. I mean, in all cylinders. Kickoff return, kickoff, offense, defense. Everything been clicking. Tonight, everyone doing their job, you know, staying in their lanes, just taking what's given. And when you do your job and do all these things right, good things happen. Right now, you can see a mirror of that happening. Just a lot of the Artesian, just everything going right.
Not much more to say than that. Not much more that needs to be said. As it looks like Franklin is backed well within a corner as the Grizzly Cubs trying to just claw away at this Artesian team, but to no avail.
Yeah, and I think this possession's big. You know, you're going down, you're down 35-7 going into half. You can get a score here, cut it to 14, get a 35-14, then you will get the ball after halftime. So they could potentially make this a 35-21 ball game. But first, they're going to have to get something going offensively. And by the way, they've struggled on a lot of offensive series. It's just been a lot of turnovers. You know, they've shown they can march the ball down the field, but they've had a couple turnovers that have really set them back behind the line of scrimmage that they haven't been able to recover from.
And it looks like it will be a nice kick that time from Charlie Rollins as he goes to the left for Kelvin English. Had a nice little breakout run in his first kickoff return, but getting nothing this time as he stopped around the 23.
Again, solid coverage there from the Artesians. Just everyone staying in their lane, flowing to the football. You don't let anyone get through any extra spaces. And right there, the Artesians do their job. They're going to have a chance here against this Franklin offense, who has 4:46 to go left before halftime to try to get something going.
And now this Artesian defense coming out, already having some big plays in previous quarters. See if they can make another amazing play here. And it looks like it will be a little bit of a screen pass over there to number 11 for the Franklin Community Bears, Tristan Shannon.
Yeah, they looked over. Looks like they tried to get something over top, nothing there. So QB just kind of checks it down in the flat on a little screen pass. And Grizzly Cubs able to pick up some solid chunk of yards there.
2nd and 5. Now this Artesian defense holding up well in previous quarters. Let's see if they can keep this iron constitution going into halftime. And it'll be another check down route this time for Franklin Community, as he is just pancaked that time.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to get Tante in with some space. And right there, you go back-to-back passes in the flat. Tante try to make a guy miss. Artesians doing well, especially right there. Just wrapping up, making tackles. That one a nice solo tackle there for the Artesians. You force the Grizzly Cubs in a 3rd and 5 situation. So wouldn't think you're in 4-down territory at this point in the game, especially backed up in your own territory. But we'll see, depending on what happens on this first play, what they decide to do.
A lot of substitutions this time for the Artesians as Potteroff comes back out, and they're switching to 3 defensive linemen and a linebacker as number 26 tries to get a hand on that ball but just misses. And number 14 stops them and preventing a big gain that time.
It's going to be close right around that 1st down marker. Let's see if they're going to give them a 1st down. I think they will. So clock sitting around right around 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Clock is rolling. And Grizzly Cubs pick up a 1st down.
And looks like number 8, Lucas Dewey, will come onto the field along with number 34, Blaine Littell. Definitely the Artesian defense swapping some key pieces here, trying to switch it up.
You go, a lot of those pieces play offense as well, so you don't see them as much on the defensive side, but right there you can see that they like to go in certain situations.
And a flag comes out that time as Franklin just misses the massive pass there.
Yeah, they tried to hit Tante on a wheel route up the sideline, but looked like there might have been a hold before that was even open over there. We'll see.
I mean, that offensive line was just collapsing, and he tried to get that out quickly. Might have been a little bit of a holding there, and it was.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see if you're the Grizzly Cubs, especially when you're kind of short on time here. Again, 3:25 to go. The way they've been scoring has been kind of slow and steady, so you got to kind of keep an eye on that clock. You don't want to run out on you too quick. Right there, backs them up another 10 yards, so you got a 1st and 20.
And I mean, with such threats in the backfield, I feel like Franklin has tried to avoid going for any deep plays so far in the first 2 quarters. And Landon Potteroff just getting behind the line and getting a tackle for loss there. And another big play there by number 11.
I mean, he's just been doing it all. You know, you had the touchdown catch early, you had the interception, and right there he just reads the play really well. Meets him in the backfield for a loss. Just when you think 20's a lot, try 2nd and 21.
And it's like you said, this Artesian defense just trying to pile it on, force this Franklin offense to just get off the field before halftime so they can either run off the clock or maybe even get their offense to go for another big play and another touchdown to try and get a running clock. And it looks like they will try and pass it that time, but it's a little under that time for number 2 for Franklin, Cole Boker.
Looked like they had some miscommunication. I think QB right there wanted him to run a slant route. He kind of ran straight up the field and kind of turned around. Not sure what route he was supposed to be running. But nevertheless, the Grizzly Cubs not on the same page. And right there, it's going to bring up a 3rd and forever for the Cubs. That does stop the clock, so.
And it looks like the Artesians trying to just ready up for any deep balls, any slants. any passing opportunities at all to try and just contain this Franklin offense, try and get that ball back with some time left on the clock. And it looks like they will break through that offensive line as Lucas Dewey nearly gets to him, but a nice little check down route that time for number 41, Corey Tante. And
what a decision there from the Cubs. Betts struggling. He's got Dewey coming at him, running like a bull in a china shop right at him, and just kind of checks it down. He sees Tante at the last second, and Tante able to get him really close to the sticks. Yeah, it looks like they got the first down, so what a huge play on a 3rd and 21. Just when you think the Grizzly Cubs were stuck in the mud, right there, you throw a little check down, and Tante does the rest, showing off the wheels.
Fortunately, no 2-minute warning in high school games, so that clock will keep running. And if this were a college game, I don't know if we should be sitting on the edge of our seats or trying to calm down and relax.
Yeah. Right there, he's in trouble.
And he got rid of it there as both number 15 and number 11, Landon Potteroff and Levi Reuter, nearly getting to him that time.
Yeah, he had 2 dudes just right in his face.
Not sure what else you could do there if you're Betts, but just try and throw it away.
I think they might have a conversation about intentional grounding. Not sure if anyone was in the area. Betts had a couple dudes coming right at him, and he kind of just throws it.
And it does look like that will be an intentional grounding possibly. But, I mean, where that ball landed and where all his receivers were, like you said, Braxton, it just does not look favorable.
No, it doesn't, and especially, when you get so much pressure that quick, you got to make a decision. You're either going to hold on to the ball and take a shot, or you try to throw it away, and right there, just no one in the area. So they will lose the down there, and they will be backed up really, really far.
And the night lights of Martinsville are coming on now as we get ready for halftime. Definitely just a long first quarter followed by a very eventful second quarter.
And of course it's homecoming weekend, so you got a big halftime coming up. You're going to see the Prince and the Queen and all that good stuff. So a lot of festivities set to happen at halftime. Tante going to get the little screen pass there. Man, he's got some wheels, able to kick it around the edge.
And I mean, just with such a versatile check down option in Corey Tante, along with some really, really good deep threats, some really, really good over the top threats. I mean, this Martinsville defense is starting to show cracks that could really be a problem after halftime.
And Tante, he's a tough guy to bring down. And right there, they've shown they're trying to get the ball to him, whether it be on a swing route on the outside, you try to get the wheel route up the sideline, you're throwing check downs to him. So they're trying to get the ball to him in just so many different ways. And right there, you see the screen work. Artesians all kind of went upfield, just right behind him. Tante gets the ball and picks up a nice chunk of yards there.
And Betts here rolling back into the backfield, trying to find a man, and he does that time, as it looks like the Artesians will stop him right after he gets that first down.
Yeah, they will get the first down, so clock will stop momentarily while they set the chains. We're right about 1 minute and 9 seconds to go before halftime, but
it does look like that was 87 Austin Green that time.
Yeah, shout out to Betts. I mean, Grayson Betts stood in the pocket there, tried to go up the sideline, but it was well covered by the Artesians, so he took his time, went to his second option. He threw it right over the middle on an absolute laser to number 87, Austin Green.
Now it does look like one of the coaches called a timeout here, as we will have a little bit of a pause.
Yeah, both teams can kind of catch their breath. I feel like we've been on this possession for quite some time. A lot of penalties that have kind of backed the Grizzly Cubs up, but they've clawed their way back, and they got a shot now in Artesian territory. A minute to go, you got a 1st and 10. I'm not sure what the field goal situation looks like for the Grizzly Cubs. I don't know how many yards they need to be in range for a potential field goal. But nevertheless, if you're the Grizzly Cubs, you really want to get a score.
And this Artesian home crowd definitely fired up here in this first half with only a minute to go, as that student section is standing up and showing their pride here for the U.S. history.
Yeah, I mean, they're having a good time down there. They, of course, all dressed out in the red and blue. And it's pretty nice when your school colors are red and blue. So whenever you're doing an American red, white, and blue themed, You don't have to change much. You got a lot of the attire already in the dresser.
Looks like Betts will try and fire a laser downfield
Oh,
for number
my
87,
goodness.
Austin Green again, but he just misses.
They will throw a flag there, but man, I don't know. Artesians kind of had the hands up there, maybe got tangled up with the legs, but tough call. That will give the Grizzly Cubs a free first down. That's a big one because, again, you pick up a free 15 yards and the clock stops.
And
So,
the crowd definitely giving the refs a piece of their mind.
yeah, that one it was a close one. You know, when those bang bang plays happen, the refs are in a tough spot. You got to make a call right there. You got to make a call and live with it.
Right or wrong, refs always got to make the calls.
And they're just such a tough thing. You know, we know there's a shortage in high school referees, and not a lot of people want to do it. Whether it be just, you know, you got the crowd heckling you all the time. You get coaches angry at you. No one's happy. There's always going to be someone angry. So it's a tough job. Credit to the
And it looks
coaches.
like
Uh-oh.
Betts stumbled a little bit there, and he gets sacked for a massive loss that time from number 35, Christian Mercer.
Yeah, Mercer absolutely swallows Betts right there in the backfield. He was in trouble kind of dancing around back there this whole time, and he had to try and get rid of it, but couldn't do it. Mercer able to take him home here. So clock running, 25 seconds and counting. Looks like Grizzly Cubs are not in much of a rush. They will end up calling a timeout. But
And I got to imagine you're trying to draw these last few seconds out as much as possible. Just try and get within field goal range even.
yeah, I'm not sure Coach Cole knew what kind of he wanted to do. You know, anytime you have a big sack like that, you lose so many yards. You want to just take it to halftime and call it quits, or just kind of maybe try to make something go. So he's going to call a timeout with around 20 seconds to go, and maybe they try to take a couple shots here. Again, you got second down, so you got 3 plays to try and make something happen. Maybe you get a couple chunk plays and set yourself up for a field goal. But they're going to try something.
It does look like some of the crowd's already heading down to the concession stands, trying to beat the rush, so to speak,
Yeah.
and try and get their snacks in their stomachs so they can be ready for halftime. As we said earlier, homecoming princes, princesses, queens, and kings
Oh, yeah.
will be out on the field for an amazing halftime show.
Yeah, this is always a very fun weekend for Artesians. Again, you got the homecoming, they got the dance tomorrow. A lot of pictures, I'm sure, that will be taken tomorrow morning. So a fun weekend, and it could be even more fun if the Artesians get a win here tonight.
And it looks like Lucas Dewey just
Oh,
racing
man.
through, gets that sack. Lucas Dewey, what an amazing play there in the backfield. Back-to-back sacks. And I can't imagine Franklin community wants to draw this out any longer.
No, I think they're pretty content with taking this one to half, especially, again, when you get the back-to-back sacks. Lucas Dewey coming home that one. Artesians, everything clicking right now. And Franklin will call a timeout with 0.3 seconds.
0.3 seconds.
So you got to think they're going to throw back there. Whoever has whoever can throw it the farthest, they're going to stick it back there and maybe take one shot at this to the end zone.
And just a minute ago, we showed you our amazing student section for the
Look at those
Artesians. There
fellas.
they are again.
They are pumped. I mean, you got the American flag. You can see that man absolutely painted all up in that flag. Wow. Those dudes just...
Going absolutely crazy for it right now, and who wouldn't be? 35-7 at your home stadium after an impactful loss last week from Decatur. You just come back out on the field, you destroy this team, showing them whose house this is, and just playing with an intensity, playing with a fervor that you need to after such an impactful loss. And it looks like we'll be getting ready with 2 seconds left on the clock here for what will be the last play of the game, hopefully.
Yeah, so we'll have 2 seconds. You got to think, since they did call the timeout, they're going to take a shot. If I'm the Artesians, I'm back there and prevent defense not letting anything get behind you. You know, there's going to be some sort of a pass. Maybe they try some trickery, maybe a screen, just run the ball, maybe try to get something. They're going to try to go deep here, but with the way the Artesians have gotten some pressure, you got to be careful.
And it looks like Betts will just fire one, and it is intercepted. That time for the Artesians for their second pick of the day. Another one just piling it on, number 18 for the Artesians that time. Adam Branham.
Yeah.
Just what an amazing play, what an amazing catch there for another interception. That makes it 2 on the night with a fumble and multiple tackles for loss with multiple sacks. and just what a stifling defense this Artesian team has played.
You talk about a first half, and if you could draw it up, I don't think Coach Duggar could have drawn it up any better. Right there, Artesians. Everything clicking up 35-7 on the Grizzly Cubs. You are watching Martinsville Artesian football here on the MHS Rewind YouTube channel and IHSAA TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adra Rafferty. Now introducing Brooklyn Schweitzer. Brooklyn is escorted by Madeline Robinson. Brooklyn is a member of the Red Blue Crew, a leader in the Red Blue Crew, and is a part of Riley Dance Marathon and the National Art Honor Society. She participates in varsity volleyball, varsity basketball, and softball. After graduation, Brooklyn plans to become an esthetician. Sorry, Brooklyn. Ladies and gentlemen, Brooklyn Schweitzer. Ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause for your Queen Court. And now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. The 2024 Homecoming Queen, Ava Hess, will be crowning both the Princess and the Queen winners. The winner for Princess is Emma Peterson. And the winner for Homecoming Queen is Taylor Goss. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for our Queen, our Princess, and the entire court for Princess and Queen. Now taking the field is the Martinsville Marching Artesian Band. The Marching Artesians are under the direction of drum majors Caitlin Thacker and Raylan Goss-Matos. Tonight, the Marching Artesians present their competition show War and Peace, featuring the Beatles' classic song Let It Be, and original music by Ian Grom and John Mapes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Martinsville Marching Artesian Band.
As the pursuit of war. kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we seek? Not merely peace in our time, peace in all time.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Martinsville Marching Artesian Band. The marching band staff features visual designer Jason Palmer. Instructors are James Powell, Doug Singer, Josh Wilson, Josh Phelps, Briar Brown, and Greg Pearson. The band director is Ken Bell. The Marching Artesian Band will be in competition at Greenwood High School September 20th, and their performance time is 1:49 p.m. The Marching Artesians would like to thank the community of Martinsville, the Red Blue Crew, the athletic department, and the MSD of Martinsville for their outstanding support.
And welcome back to Ciderwitz Field after a short halftime break with both homecoming and band performances. We are no doubt in for a great second half.
Remember, just like on the field, none of us are in this alone. If you or a loved one needs support, dial 988.
Yeah, we had quite the halftime. You know, we had the, as you mentioned, the band put on one heck of a performance. And then the homecoming court, of course, always looks, always gets a lot of eyes drawn to the field. That went pretty well as well. So a lot of great events there at halftime. And a lot of this fan base sticking around. Why wouldn't they? You know, their team up 35-7.
Why wouldn't you want to stick around for the greatest show on turf?
Yeah. How's it going? How's it going? Looks like they're going to try the pooch kick again. Rollins this time kicks that one pretty well.
And a nice little kick there. Oh, and number 83 comes up with it, but he's shocked after a little bit of a gain. Number 83, Braden Bonesteel. Just a metal last name there for that guy.
Yeah, right there. You try to pooch it, and that's exactly where you want it. You want it to take a bounce, make a guy have to make a catch out the air. And right there, it takes one bounce on the turf. Luckily, it was a Franklin bounce. Bounced right to him, the Artesians. If that would have bounced a different way, they could have had a shot at it.
First down, Franklin at the 29-yard line.
And currently, just what a game we've been privy to see so far. Just 35-7, just an absolute masterclass on both offense and defense for this Artesian team. But it looks like Franklin is trying to get off to a good start here in this second half with Corey Tante.
We talked about Tante, man. He can get the edge, and right there, he's showing the speed. He showed the speed. It's a different bursts and spurts of the game in the first half. But if he gets that corner and he gets rolling, you better watch out because he's a quick fella.
But, I mean, taking a look at around the rest of Mid-State, currently Decatur and Mooresville going at it at Mooresville. Currently Decatur beating them 45-14. Plainfield at home against Greenwood, currently beating them 35-7. And, of course, your Whiteland Warriors beating Perry Meridian 42-14.
Yeah, a lot of good teams you just kind of mentioned there. You mentioned Decatur Central and Plainfield. They'll actually play next week. That one should be a good game. Both those teams favored to win the Mid-State, and they're just two powerhouses that have been really good these past few years, and especially this year.
I mean, Braxton, just looking at it, that's the battle of the year. That's the game. As after that, both teams kind of have cupcake schedules, except for Plainfield, who has to face the Martinsville Fighting Artesians at the end of the year in their home stadium.
That one, that game the past few years has been a determining factor on who wins the Mid-State Conference in the past 2 years. And both of those teams, I believe, has had a co-share in the Mid-State Conference at some sort of level. But the Artesians have shared the Mid-State Conference these past couple of years. They've won it and trying to get it again this year. Again, 1-1 in the conference. But I'll tell you, if they win out, they'll most likely have a shot at conference because unless Decatur or Plainfield, one of them, whoever wins that game, the other, unless they go undefeated, could be another three-way tie. We will see how this all shakes out.
And it looks like Betts will keep it off that read option, but is sacked after a nice tackle for loss there by Lucas Dewey.
And that's the next level play from Dewey. I mean, right there, he saw the handoff was going to be a fake handoff. He touched the running back in the back, and then he went all the way around and chased down the quarterback. You just don't see that very often from a guy who plays running back and gets thrown in there, defensive middle linebacker. He just can do everything. I mean, he's just athlete, man.
I mean, facing a good athlete on the defensive end like Lucas Dewey, there's just not really much you can do if they find a hole in that offensive line.
Yeah.
Does look like a flag will be thrown here on this play as someone might have jumped off sides there for Franklin.
Yeah, a lot of movement in the white jerseys there. Not looking good for the Cubs. They'll back that one off.
But, I mean, as I said earlier, taking a look around the conference, Decatur Central, interestingly, has nobody in the top 5 besides Casimir Hicks with 2 interceptions in the interceptions category. Nobody that's really stood out for Decatur. This has just been all around a great supporting cast, a great team who just works with the system and works in what they're given.
I'll tell you, Casimir Hicks is an absolute animal. I mean, last week, the show he put on, was unreal. I mean, it looked like he was playing a video game out there, just running around, juking everyone out. It was unreal.
And a pass there from Betts to Bronson Stewart, the sophomore that time, just no good.
And he threw it on the money. I mean, Betts had that one placed right where he wanted, just right through the hands of the receiver there. You want to see if you're a Grizzly Cub, you got to come down with those, especially when you're down in a game like this. You gotta take what's given right there. Throwing a ball that was catchable. Got to come down with it.
And now a long third down here as Betts tries to air one out, but just misses there on the right for Wirtz. Just not the right angle there for that catch.
Yeah, and just a little off timing, it feels like. He broke on his route, and before he could even turn around, the ball was coming towards him. So not exactly where he thought it was going to be. So Grizzly Cubs, yet again, going to be forced to punt.
And now nearly 2.5 minutes into this third quarter, the Artesians getting another stop as this Iron Constitution defense does not let anything get past them. And it looks like they nearly got the kicker that time, as number 87's going to get to that ball as it almost tries to roll back to the 20-yard line. Number 87, Austin Green, getting the ball that time as the Artesians set up shop right around the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and we'll see if this offense can pick up where they left off. I mean, they just were striking on all cylinders in that first half of play. If they can do half of what they did in that first quarter, they should be in good shape here tonight. But thus far, this Franklin defense really have no answers for this Artesian offense.
And here comes Chase Davis out again over to Riley Butler. Had a few missed catches earlier in the game, but a nice catch there gets him on the board with a well over 10-yard catch for the first down.
That's a big catch for him. He had a couple of false starts early on in the game, tried to get a go route, but was just a little too ready to catch that ball. Had a couple of false starts. But right there, you get him on a slant route. Nice throw, nice catch. Give him some confidence going in again. We're in again early in the Mid-State Conference. You want to see receivers get some confidence. And right there, nice throw, nice catch there from Butler.
And it does look like it'll be a fake handoff to Dewey as Chase Davis rolls right, launches one over, just right over the head of Landon Casey. And an incomplete pass there for Chase Davis.
Yeah, not really sure if that one was going to go to Casey or go to Butler. They both were kind of running routes towards the sideline. Davis kind of threw it in between both of them. But
definitely a nice play action there from Chase Davis.
You get the offense moving. You can roll out, have something maybe come loose on the secondary. But credit to the Grizzly Cubs, they stayed locked down on that one.
Chase Davis, handoff to Lucas Dewey for real this time, as Lucas Dewey is wrapped around the back and forced into another defender as he stopped well short of the first down, maybe just a gain of 2 or 1 there that time.
Anytime you see a really big physical tackle, it looks like someone's coming down on somebody. Usually it's going to involve number 5, Blake Smith, and right there he was kind of in the middle of that tackle there for the Artesians, or excuse me, there for the Grizzly Cubs. So 3rd and long here for the Artesians. It'll be interesting to see what they draw up. Probably going to keep it in the air here.
And I mean, it almost seems like Blake Smith's involved in every single defensive play here for the Cubs.
Yeah, the Artesians have been trying to keep the ball away from him, rightfully so. I mean, he just causes a lot of havoc.
And it looks like Franklin will be preparing for a blitz this time as Chase Davis rolls back, gets it over to number 11 that time for this Artesian team, Landon Potteroff, but Potteroff just unable to get anywhere. And Franklin actually pulling out a good defensive run this time, able to stop this Artesian offense on 4th and 8. And now it's Duggar's choice if he wants to go for it on 4th again or if he wants to putt it off so close to the shadow of their own end zone.
Yeah, I think you got to punt this one again. You're up 4 scores. And at this point in the game, you're not in really a dire need to try and get a first down, especially deep in your own territory. But that last play, they tried to draw a screen pass to Potteroff. But Grizzly Cubs read it well. They stayed home, and they were right there ready to get him.
I mean, it is kind of like you mentioned, Braxton. It is basically clock management now that we're in the 3rd quarter trying to run time down into that 4th quarter and end this game earlier. And it does look like Charlie Rollins will be here for another punt attempt for him today. Definitely been great so far as Franklin nearly gets a hand on that one.
Beautiful punt.
But just a nice punt there from Charlie Rollins. And the Artesians are quick to stop number 7 that time, Kelvin English. Definitely had a few great punt returns himself tonight. But so far not able to break past this Artesian kickoff team and just try and get into the end zone. He's had no luck.
Yeah, no, they really struggled. But, right now, the Grizzly Cubs, you got favorable field position. You're right around midfield, so if there's any drive where you can get yourself going, try to get some good completions. It's this one. You got favorable field position. They can get a few runs, maybe a couple passes over the middle just to get things going. Try and settle this offense who has had some struggles here tonight. And a lot of the reason is because of turnovers. Again, the 2 interceptions, the fumble. This offense, they've showed glimpses that they can be really good, but they've also really hurt themselves with some turnovers.
And it does look like Tante that time not able to break past this Artesian team as he only is able to pick up 1 yard that time. And it almost looks like Tante does much better on outside runs and on trick plays than he does on direct runs like Lucas Dewey, who's able to just thunder through that line and have the offensive line create a big gap for him.
Yeah, he's definitely, not a Lucas Dewey. He's not a guy who's going to run over people. As you mentioned, he likes to get the ball in space. Coach Cole has tried to draw up a lot of different creative plays to get the ball to him in the flat. You try a screen, you run him up the sideline on a wheel route. You're just trying to get the ball to your playmakers in a ton of different ways. And when you got this D-line playing like they are right now, who was that 44? Owen Crow just meeting him in the backfield. And just when you got a defense playing like this, the O-line struggling, and you just can't get anything going. It doesn't matter how good athletes you got when you can't block up front. And this defense is causing havoc like it has all night. Not good things are typically going to happen.
And it does look like the Artesian defense will take off Wyatt Davis top for a 3-man defensive line with more linebackers and DBs in the backfield. Try and prevent this Franklin team from getting that first down.
Yeah. Going to probably take a shot here. They're going to roll out.
And it looks like they will get it to number 83 that time, who breaks out with a massive pass. Number 83 for the Cubs, Braden Bonesteel once again, the man with the amazing last name, showing off that amazing hands and amazing footwork to get well past that first down marker.
Yeah, credit to the vision of Betts there. He kind of rolls out wide, everyone not know where he's going. He just throws an absolute laser in there to the receiver. Nice throw. Nice catch there for the Grizzly Cubs. And plays like those are kind of what gets you back in the game. You're in a 3rd and long. Everything's not looking so good, and then you just throw an absolute laser, and you get that right there. So Grizzly Cubs starting to roll.
And it looks like Betts will keep it, showing that amazing read option ability to be able to read that defense, use his feet, and get closer to the first down marker. And as I've said before, Braxton, about Decatur Central, how they're just a great team overall in the Mid-State Conference, while Plainfield definitely has its fair share of playmakers. Blake Larison with over 4 sacks, leading the Mid-State Conference. Luke Starnes with 9 total TDs.
Yeah, he's a tough running back. I feel like he's been over there forever.
Along with Xander Natum, who goes for 364 yards receiving, and Bryce Sinback, who's leading the Mid-State Conference in 877 passing yards, along with Luke Starnes with 650 rushing yards. And just a star-studded cast Plainfield has.
What a play there from the Artesians. Betts tried to get it to Whitaker in the air, and he had it. He pinpointed, caught it right up in the air, but then the Artesians just absolutely sandwiched him. I think Grady Gardner, I couldn't tell who the other one was, but, man, great defense. And that's what you're taught. As soon as the receiver has the ball, you go and hit that ball, and right there they just both collided right at him, not allowing him to come down with that one, saving a touchdown.
And it looks like Tante will have an outside run, the more favorable choice for him that time, as he is just slipping and sliding through this Artesian defense as he gets close, and if not achieving that first down marker.
He just somehow finds a way. When you don't think there's a lot of space on the corner, he just somehow kind of pinballs around in there and just knows where the yards are, knows where the sticks are, and right there he just knew what he needed to get, and he got it. And the Grizzly Cubs will have a fresh set of downs here.
Just what a game these two offenses have played, both being able to punish these defenses, but only one so far has collapsed when it mattered in the end zone, and that is Franklin's, with the Artesians holding an iron constitution here, but we will see if that changes here as Tante gets an inside run, and once again he's just stuffed, nowhere to go. And I really think it's showing that to the Franklin head coach, Chris Cole, that running with the inside with Tante is just not a good idea, and that he should stick with an east-west playmaker strategy.
And I get that. It's kind of the running back he is. He's not going to run up the middle and run over people, but what thing he will do is get around people and go outside. And he's shown he's got some wheels, and when he gets going around the outside, he's a tough guy to catch. And they're trying to find different ways to give him the ball. Again, they've tried, as I mentioned, they try to run him up the sideline. You got the screen passes, and they've even tried to run right up the middle. And I feel like they've had the most success when you get him the ball out in space.
And it does look like either Franklin, I do believe Franklin will be calling a timeout here, just to catch their breath. 4:48 here to go in the third quarter.
It's been a long drive. They've been really close to having to punt a couple times. They made some plays on some big third downs. And Coach Cole just trying to gather guys together, make sure everyone's on the same page. Again, you're less than halfway through this third quarter, and you want to get a score. Again, not the game thus far you want if you're Coach Cole, not the outcome you expected. But right now, you just got to gather your guys and try to calm down and get the touchdown slowly but surely. You're not gonna make this comeback in one play, and it's gonna take a bunch of plays. So just take it one play at a time, and do your job, and good things will happen.
And Braxton, with your football expertise you've had in years past playing for this Martinsville Artesian team, what experience with Coach Duggar do you think that he would be saying right now to this Artesian team up 35-7 against Franklin?
Got to keep the foot on the gas. You can never let up. They know what happened last year when they played Decatur. You're down 35-7. They came back in one of the greatest comebacks ever. Right now, the score is 35-7, but you just got to keep your foot on the gas. It's not over until it's over. You can't let up. You got to keep doing your job, and if you do your job, good things are going to happen. You flow to the ball, you play your lane, you throw it to the right guys, you catch the ball, don't turn the ball over. Good things are going to happen. And right now, the Artesians just keep doing what they've been taught. This is a year-round program. They don't really have an off season. They're lifting weights all the time. They're working all year for Friday nights, and when you get a chance to showcase your talents in a game like this, well, right now it's working. It's got to feel good if you're the Artesians right now.
And an outside run to Tante. Again, it does look like he has the space, but he just will be a little short that time.
I think that was actually Betts, yeah.
That was not Tante. That was Betts using the quick feet that time to nearly get that touchdown, but just a little short at the 1 yard line.
We didn't know he had that one in him, did we? Wow. He's just showing the wheels, trying to get the edge just about a half yard. I don't think you can get closer to that.
And
Braxton, in the end zone.
You got to love dual threat quarterbacks. Just having the ability to not only do read options, but also to create running plays from passing plays, which failed to create any space with their receivers.
They're going to try the Eagles push there, and it gets absolutely swallowed.
The good old tush
push.
Oh,
it will say they're a touchdown. Wow. Looked like the Artesians beat him to the point of attack, but he must have got a second effort to get in there. We don't really have a good angle way up here at that side of the field, but credit to Betts. Just the second effort, able to get in the end zone there. And that's a big score. Again, they struggled early on in the ball game, and they were finally able to get a score. And then right there, you finally show, hey, we can score. It's going to take a while. It's not going to be pretty at all times. But right there, Grizzly Cubs get on the board once again.
And Braxton, with how long it took Franklin to get on the board this time, a total of 3/4 of the third quarter. You got to think this Artesian team will just try and run the ball as much as possible, try and run down that clock, and try and force this Franklin team into passing a more pass-orientated game and try and create more turnovers via interceptions and fumbles.
Yeah, if you're the Artesians, just bleed as much clock as possible. You're not in any rush to score or anything like that. You're just trying to run the ball, get this clock to run out, and again, you're in no hurry whatsoever. There's no need really to take shots at this point in the game. If there's stuff open over the middle, you take what's given. But other than that, you really don't need to throw anything crazy at them. You're in control of this game, and if you do your job and control, you can control. This should end up pretty good for the Artesians. But you got to think at this point in the game, Franklin's going to get a little aggressive, whether it be on kickoffs. They try to get a onside kick or something. You got to think they're going to start throwing some tricks at the Artesians, throwing some weird looks. And if you're the Artesians, you just got to be ready for everything.
And now 3:16 left to go in the third quarter as Franklin is set to kick off once again. Let's see if they try and target Casey once more after such disastrous kick returns he's had, or will they target Grady Gardner to try something new? But it does look like they'll pooch it, like you said earlier.
Oh, my goodness, and I think they got it.
And oh, my goodness.
Credit to Alex Myers. He put an absolute beauty of a pooch kick in there, and it just went in no man's land. No one was over there towards the sideline. Grizzly Cubs went right over there and got the ball. Wow.
And
what a
Braxton,
turn of events.
I'm not sure this matters much, but I do remember being at that Decatur Central game when we had that absolutely wondrous comeback. And I do believe the time when that comeback started was 3:16 left to go in the third quarter.
It could never say never. You know, these teams, you never know, especially in the mid-state. Anyone can beat anybody. Right now, Grizzly Cubs, as I mentioned, you may try to throw some tricks, and right there, they threw something at the Artesians. They got successful. So what will they do? You know, you got to watch offensively. Do they have any trick plays involved? I'll tell you, they're going to probably give it a lot to number 4-1.
And it looks like Tante, like you said, will get a favorable outside run, and we'll get about 5 or 6 on that carry for a 2nd and 4.
You know, you got to think he's going to be pretty sore tomorrow. He's got a bulk of these carries. I want to know the numbers of percentage-wise. How much time does he touch the ball on every play? I feel like it's almost 75% at this point. I mean, he's just getting a lot of touches here tonight. He's running the ball hard. I mean, he protects that ball really well, gets uphill really quick, can shift these side to side.
And it does look like Gunnar Bryant will come on the field for number 34, Blaine Littell. A little bit of a substitution here for the Arties, trying to create some confusion for this Franklin team, but it doesn't seem to matter to Tante at all as he goes over to the sideline, moves down that first down marker, and gets them well closer to that end zone.
He just keeps fighting, man. He just keeps working his way to the sideline. You know, he loves to get outside, and right there, he just kind of bounces off a couple of defenders, knows where the sticks are, so kind of finds that and just gets right out of bounds.
And like you said, Tante, definitely one of the players that have so far exceeded any and all expectations set upon them this game.
Speaking of Tante, he's got a lot of room out there.
Oh, and it looks like he's just wrapped up around the feet by number 18, Adam Branham. That time he's had some plays of his own this game, including an interception earlier in the second quarter.
He has played well. You know, he's locked down that corner side over there. Anytime they've been trying to run over there, he's holding his ground, you know, not letting anything get outside. Or like right there, you make a touchdown saving tackle on Tante right there. And as you mentioned, there was interception. So Adam Branham's had himself a night. He's really a solid corner and a solid defensive player here for the Artesians. Been showing out all year.
And it does look like Tante forces his way in for yet another Franklin Grizzly Cubs touchdown. And there might be an upset alert here inside of Witt Stadium. It's getting a little hot in here.
Yeah, that was a beautiful run there from Tante. I'm not sure Tante got touched. I mean, he just went right up the middle. Credit to the O-line. They've really stepped it up so far in this third quarter. And right there just opens up a huge gap for Tante.
And I mean, if you had a time to get the Artesians back into order, now would be it. 1:51 left to go here in the third quarter as Franklin trying to set off the comeback sirens.
Yeah, I mean, you're down 2 scores. You're 2 stops away from 2 stops and 2 scores away from tying this game. And you know that can happen in the blink of an eye. So if I'm the Artesians here, you got to protect everything starting on the kickoff. You got to make sure everyone is where they need to be on the kickoff return. Don't let any pooch kicks happen because, as you showed, the Grizzly Cubs will take advantage of anything they can see.
No more pooch poaching. We cannot allow them to get any free yards. I'm sure that's what Duggar's saying right now.
Looks like the Artesians going to probably cover the sidelines a little bit more.
Definitely bringing out a more spreaded kick return. Does look like Casey and Grady are shifting up a little bit. Everybody squishing together a little bit more to prevent a pooch.
See what the Grizzly Cubs try to do here.
And if you were the Grizzly Cubs, do you think it would be a good idea to try and kick it back all the way to the end zone, try and force these Artesians to go and grab it, or would you try and pooch it again with them so squished together?
I like the push, excuse me, the pooch. They had success earlier, of course, and they got to trust their defense. They need to keep trying to get themselves a chance right there. It's going to go to Casey. That could be some danger.
And it does look like it will be dangerous here for Franklin as Casey gets it well around the 40-yard line for this Artesian side of the field. And definitely not what you love to see with your Franklin, just getting that touchdown only to see Casey go out there and just rip a nice 15-yard return.
Yeah, he's just a great guy. I mean, we've shown what kind of an athlete he is tonight. You know, he had the return. He had the beautiful catch in the corner of the end zone. He just a special player. And you can see that man right there, Coach Duggar. Love to see athletes like that, number 2. You know, anytime you got a guy like Landon Cage you can throw the ball up to, or a playmaker that just can make plays just any time. It's got to feel good.
Then we got a little bit of a run there by, I think, Lucas Dewey. Pushes them to up around the 37 for a 2nd and 7.
And again, kind of what we talked about on the last kickoff before the Grizzly Cups are covered. Our teams are in no hurry. You know, they have no reason to try to be hustling to the ball. You can see they're taking their time. Again, you want to take this to the end of the 3rd quarter. You know, you're in no hurry. You want to bleed as much clock as possible. Again, you're up 2 scores. Just trying to maintain the possession and hopefully score, and in the process waste a lot of time.
Especially when you've got such a great running back in Lucas Dewey in the backfield. Unfortunately, though, it looks like he'll be wrapped up at or behind the line of scrimmage that time. Most likely, Smith getting around that offensive line with his weight, just throwing it around, causing chaos for this offensive line.
Yeah, he's been a tough guy to stop. Looks like we have a Grizzly Cub who kind of went down right around midfield. Hope he's okay.
And that does look like number 7.
I think might be.
It may
15.
be.
I see 2 numbers. I know it's a 1, maybe a 5.
It may be.
Tough to see up here. Could be a 9.
It is. Looks like
15,
it's 15.
15.
Brian Leap, the senior.
Looks like.
Get
I'm
it
not sure
up.
if he's cramping or what. Hopefully it's a cramp. Hopefully he's all right.
Always hate to see an injury, no matter what side it is, Braxton.
Sure do, and especially senior year, like that young man has. You don't want to see it cut short by an injury. So hopefully he's just cramping. But yeah, injuries is the unfortunate reality that we have to deal with sometimes. And anytime you have injuries, it just kind of hold your breath. You know, you hope it's not bad, just because you never know what the next player brings.
And it does look like it'll be a pass play for Chase Davis, who sails it just a little high for Casey to get. Tries to come down with a one-handed left-hand snag, but it's just a little bit too high for him to catch that time. And it will be a 4th and 8 here for this Artesian team.
Yeah, just tough break there for the Artesians, so they will be forced to punt right before this 3rd quarter ends. Again, 20 seconds remaining. Artesians 4th and 8. Forced to punt here. And again, we've shown Charlie Rollins. We know he has a boot, so he could potentially
knock him back possibly to the 5. Charlie Rollins opting for a little bit of a shorter kick this time, as that ball just keeps on rolling and a bunch of Artesians crowding around it, ensuring no Franklin returners opt to try and pick it up and go for a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, solid punt there from Charlie. You said it. They got to start now about their own 23. So Grizzly Cubs gonna get another crack at it. And again, they scored last time. Took a while, but they did end up getting in the end zone off of that recovered pooch kick.
And this Artesian defense definitely going to have to step up and play lockdown here for the remainder of this 3rd and into the 4th quarter, as they hope to just get this Franklin offense off the field and run time with the offense. And it does look like
I think it was Tante, yeah. Tante getting all the carries tonight. As I mentioned, he's going to be sore. He's going to be real tired tomorrow.
They're just running that man into the ground now, Braxton.
He has been the man of the hour. anytime you need something, you give it to that man, and he's been running the ball really hard tonight.
And now 2nd and 11 here for this Franklin team as they hand it off to Tante again, and he's nearly caught behind the line, but manages to squirm his way a little bit forward, maybe to a 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9, and that will do it for the end of the 3rd quarter. Things are getting a little interesting here at Ciderwitz Field. Artesians only up 2 scores.
You're watching Martinsville versus Franklin on the MHS Rewind YouTube channel and IHSA TV. We will see you at the start of the 4th quarter.
Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're not just good at insurance.
We're good at Matt's 1-car, 2-bedroom apartment with a home office / home gym insurance.
We're good at Nick's SUV and farmhouse with a remodeled kitchen / art gallery insurance.
And we're good at the Wilbur suburban home with the 2-car garage / rehearsal space insurance. Have you seen my hockey socks?
Have you checked your sock drawer?
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Hi, I'm Trip Lukemeyer, Director of the IHSAA Foundation. Each year, over 160,000 student athletes compete in high school athletics within our state, learning the value of hard work, persistence, and integrity. The IHSAA Foundation works to empower and support this next generation of leaders through scholarships, leadership development, and sharing the benefits of education-based athletics. To learn more about our mission and how you can help high school athletics make a difference, visit ihsaafoundation.org.
The benefits of choosing a career in the union construction industry are truly limitless.
Some of the things that I've worked on that I'm extremely proud of are some of the pipe racks that we just built for Eli Lilly.
Yeah, there's a lot of different avenues to grow and to advance in your career.
If you're a senior and college isn't for you, in the trades there's so many opportunities. You get to work with your hands, you get trained for free, and the options are unlimited. You can do so many different things with this.
Hello and welcome back to Ciderwitz Field for the start of a very pivotal 4th quarter here as the Franklin Community Grizzly Cubs start us off with the ball.
Yeah, we talked about how momentum starting to shift late in that 3rd quarter. The Grizzly Cubs were able to recover a pooch kick, and they were able to punch it in the end zone. Betts has a lot of time here.
Betts a little bit under pressure there. Linebackers doing a good job of staying back just long enough before more pressure gets in. And it looks like that will be a short completion there to number 83.
I think it was ruled incomplete. I don't think they gave him the yardage there, but I'm really impressed by Betts' poise in the pocket. You know, he's been under pressure a lot tonight. He's been able to, I feel like, make a lot of his completions when he has been under pressure and rolling in the backfield and just trying to move around and escape and find something. He's been finding dudes on the move.
And I mean, if you're Betts, you're just trying to do whatever you can to unbury your team from the sort of hole that they've been put in. And it does look like that will be a fair catch from Grady Gardner at around the 45-yard line.
Artesians will take over again. They kind of control their own destiny here. You get a score here, you put the Grizzly Cubs in a really tough spot. But if you don't, and you have to end up punting, you leave the door open. And as we mentioned, the Grizzly Cubs are knocking.
I mean, at this point, you want to be slamming that door shut, not opening it wider and kind of motioning them to come in with open arms. Chase Davis out here now, played a very good game so far. Pretty sure he's only got 2 TDs to 1 interception.
He has played a good game. He's been throwing the ball well. He's been giving the ball to his playmakers, handing the ball off to Dewey a lot. We've seen that a lot. But when he has been forced to throw it, I feel like he's been pretty accurate here tonight, just distributing the football pretty well.
And
a little bit of trickery here.
Trick play over to Landon Casey. A little bit of a triple action. as he just gets back to the line of scrimmage, but a flag is thrown that looks like that might be a face mask or a horse collar.
Yeah, I think either way it was a late hit. You know, you got the guy out of bounds. You don't need the extra kind of push there. That's just going to really hurt the Grizzly Cubs right there. You went to the football. You flowed to it well. You had him stop for not much of a gain at all, and then you have a late hit like that. That's a free 15.
That would have been a really tough third down for this Artesian team to swallow, but luckily it looks like they were bailed out by the flag there on Franklin, and it will be an Artesian first down. And I mean, this Artesian team just has to get into a tiny bit of a rhythm, not even just trying to build momentum anymore, just trying to keep that momentum on their side and try and give more confidence to their defense to play lockdown throughout the remainder of the fourth. And it looks like Chase Davis will air one out over to Riley Butler, who has it in his hands and stopped just short of the touchdown, maybe at the 1 or the 2 yard line. And what a catch from Riley Butler. His first catch.
What a catch from the young fella right there, Riley Butler. You send him on a streak. Just say, go catch the ball, go run as fast as far as you can. Chase Davis, as I've been talking about, he just put balls on the money right there. He threw an absolute dime. Riley Butler coming down with it, caught from behind. Artesians in business here, down inside the 5 yard line.
And it looks like it will be a handoff to Lucas Dewey, but it looks like he stopped just short, being folded like a lawn chair at that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, man, he's been hit in some awkward positions. It feels like tonight that one may have took a toll on him. Seems like he's laying on the ground there. I think he might be cramping. Looks like he's got the limp. So Grady Gardner will come in for Lucas Dewey. Coach Duggar sends in the play.
And it might, no, it looks like a pass over to the corner.
Oh,
and it is caught. A nice catch by Landon Casey for his 3rd touchdown of the night. 10 minutes and 3 seconds left to go, and we are just piling it on at this point. 41-21 here at Ciderwitz Field.
I mean, it was a great catch, but an even better throw. I mean, you couldn't have placed that wall any better. Chase Davis just absolutely put that one on the money. Only where his receiver could get it. Landon Casey having himself a night. 3 touchdowns for the fella. Chase Davis been putting balls where he needs to put them. This Artesian team is absolutely rolling. Field goal is up and good. So the Artesians take a 42-21 lead just when you think the Grizzly Cubs had a shot at crawling back. Artesians strike back. Fireworks going, and they look even better when it's pitch dark out here. I'll tell you what. I don't know if you can hear, but you can hear the bell for the Artesians ringing. Every time they score, you got to ring it as many times as points they have. And right now, they got to ring that thing 42 times.
It just keeps ringing and ringing and ringing. And you got to think it's starting to ring in Franklin's ears right now.
Yeah, if we can hear it up here, I can't imagine how loud it is over there on the sideline.
And all those poor people standing next to the bell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be even more loud, man. That thing can get pretty loud. So the Artesians will boot it back to the Grizzly Cubs. Cubs got a room, and they got a lot of space.
And it looks like Alex English, Kelvin English, my mistake, is going all the way down to around the 40, maybe even the 35.
Yeah, heck of a run there from English. And, you know, it's not good when your kicker's the last man standing. Charlie Rollins able to take a crack at English there, able to push him out of bounds. Taking one for the team. You know, he never probably never wants to see that. You got to think when you're a kicker and you see a guy like English running at you, you got to be pretty nervous.
Apparently not nervous enough to affect Charlie Rollins
Yeah.
as he is able to stop him around the 35-yard line.
Looking like Pat McAfee out there just laying the boom. You know, he's doing his job getting him out of bounds.
And it does look like this Artesian defense will have its work cut out for them as Tante gets another wide open field to run with on the left side as he gets about 5 or 6 that time down to about the 40.
And if they're going to get back in this thing, that's the guy who's going to have to make him go. I mean, he's been the go-to guy all game long. They've been giving him a lot of touches. And if the Grizzly Cubs are going to get on this board again, it's going to be mostly because of 41. You got to think.
And it looks like Betts is going to be going for another pass over the middle to number 87, Austin Green, who's just had a monster game of his own.
Yeah, he's had some big catches for the Grizzly Cubs. Nice catch there from 83. But, yeah, I mean, this I'm really impressed with Betts. You know, even though the score doesn't really reflect it, I feel like he's distributed the ball very well. You know, he's given the ball to his playmakers. Again, you take away the 3 turnovers, and this is a totally different ball game. You know, they've struggled off of turnovers that really hurt them by themselves. Betts going to take a shot at the end zone. He's got a wide open man.
And it's intercepted that time by Grady Gardner. What a nice pick that time for the Artesians. He's got some blockers. Tries to shake off number 3, Grayson Betts. But the quarterback comes in, stopping Grady Gardner's return short at around the 15-yard line.
Betts had a man streaking in the end zone, just underthrew it. And Grady Gardner able to save the day for the Artesians, able to swoop right up in there and pick that ball off. So Artesians in business. Now, you got 8:48 to go. You're up 42, 2:21.
If you're the Artesians, I'd say it's Lucas Dewey time. Trying to get as many runs out of him as possible to run this clock down to 0.
Yeah.
And Lucas Dewey showing off his versatility there with his eyes and his feet as he works his way possibly to a 2nd and 6.
And the best part of that about that play, it's going to keep the clock moving. Again, the Artesians just trying to bleed out this clock. You're up 3 scores. You're not in any hurry. You're probably going to see a lot of number 8 touching the ball here.
And it does look like it's time where they'll start eating the play clock around to about 5 seconds before actually snapping the ball.
Yeah, no reason. I mean, there's no reason to snap it when you're at 15 or so seconds. Let this thing bleed down as far as it can go. And waste as much time as possible.
And there goes another carry to Lucas Dewey, but he's wrapped up and tackled for a loss behind the line by number 20, Adil Towie.
Yeah, we talked about Towie, who can make some plays, and him and Smith combo is really scary. You know, they came blowing off the edge, and you know, if you're the Artesians, you probably don't want to run the ball over there on their side because they've been causing some havoc all night.
Just trying to bleed this clock as much as possible. Even if they don't get a first down here, they've still bleeded about a minute off the clock, which will help the defense significantly. As Chase Davis set to throw.
What a
Got
ball.
a wide open Riley Butler, but he fumbles it and drops it. Just heartbreaking there for Riley Butler. Nearly had his 2nd game-altering pass of the day, but ultimately just slipped through his fingers and just a little shy of an amazing play.
I mean, I don't know if Chase Davis could have walked that ball and put it any better than the way he threw it right there. I mean, that one was just an absolute dot to Riley Butler. Hit him right in the hands. Just couldn't come down with it.
And it does look like we've got a slight breeze here at Ciderwoods Field as a nice punt there from Charlie Rollins to number 7, Kelvin English, again, as he's wrapped up very, very quickly this time. Not allowed much running room.
So 7:12 to go here for the Grizzly Cubs. And again, you're going to have to score, and you have to score quick now. The clock definitely not in your favor. Artesians were able to milk some of that clock, but not all of it.
However, past your own side of the field, it definitely is going to be a lot easier than what it has been in previous possessions. 7:12 on the clock, not necessarily at the point at which you have to hurry up, start spiking the ball or anything.
Yeah.
But definitely still need to move with a quickness here to ensure you get as many touchdowns as possible.
And especially with the way they're going to score, it's going to be with that guy right there, and they're going to run the ball and have a lot of.
And it does look like there might be a holding call there on number 74 that time, Maxwell Sponberg. There as he just pushes number 34, Blaine Littell, to the ground.
Yeah, it looks like they got a little too handsy. And this one will come back.
Just a lot of flags in this game.
And there has been. You know, it's been not the cleanest game in the world, particularly on the Grizzly Cubs side. You feel like anytime they get something going, they get a nice drive, and then they just get negated by penalties. They've really struggled tonight playing a clean game.
And I wouldn't say that's the early point in the season anymore where you got the jitters. You know, you're trying not to focus on jumping or doing anything. Now it's just at the point where it needs to be fixed and it needs to happen less.
Yeah.
And now Tante trying to rush forward, slithery sly, but just unfortunately unable to do much to unbury themselves in this league. Gets about 5 for a 2nd and 15.
He takes away some of that here, but I mean, again, you still got. You're in 4-down territory. You'd have to think at this point in the game. You know, you're down 3 scores. Clock continuing to roll, and you're gonna have to think about taking a shot here. You can't just rely on Tante. You know, he's a great running back, and he'll get you 5 and 5 and 5, but you're gonna start needing some big plays.
And Tante finding a wide open hole there, snaking his way past the defense. Only one man to beat, number 14, and it looks like he will get there for the touchdown.
Speaking of big plays, maybe you can just hand it off to 41. Wow. We knew he had some wheels, but, man, he just kind of exploded through that secondary of the Artesian defense. And I don't know how he didn't go down there. He had a couple guys grabbing his jersey. But, man, Tante showing the wheels.
I mean, if you're that Artesian defense, hate to give up such a big run play, but you did milk the clock another minute, and that gets us another minute closer to the end of this game. 42-27, your current score, as Franklin now sets up to kick a PAT, which flies straight through the uprights. So far, both kickers for this team have been perfect throughout the game.
Kicking, yeah, they've been really well. And speaking of kicking, right now you're most likely going to see an onside kick at some sort. You got to maybe a pooch, but you're probably not going to see this ball go deep. So if I'm the Artesians, yeah, it looks like they're going to have their what they call hands team. They got all the dudes who got the best hands on the team. They can catch the ball pretty well. They're going to stick all those guys out there, and hopefully they can come down with the ball. Because, again, at this point in the game, you got to think Franklin's going to start throwing some trickery at the Artesians, especially on special teams.
You cannot give any free passes in a game like this. The two Eagles having a little...
Yeah. Looks like they're having a little beaking battle. I'm not really sure. Looks like they're...
trying to hype each other up here, as well as hyping up the student section.
Yeah.
Student section still on their feet, showing their support for this Artesian
Yeah, I'm not
team.
sure any of them have left. I mean, they got that place absolutely packed from top to bottom. So here we go. Artesians again up by 2 scores after the touchdown from Tante. And the Artesian hands team is the only squad out there right now. And you got 10 guys within the distance of 5 yards. If I'm the Grizzly Cubs, I'm going to kick it 15 yards and make the Artesians have to go back and get it. Because you got a lot of dudes right here.
And I mean, who else in the backfield but Landon Casey? You know, had a couple of great kick returns on his own, but it looks like we'll have a little bit of stoppage.
Looks like the Artesians have a little bit of confusion. Rather call a timeout than risk something going bad here.
And definitely a great use of a timeout there by Duggar. If you see a mistake there, you don't just want to leave it out on the field. Let the mistake play out in real time. Give possibly Franklin a free onside kick and really flip this game upside down, but instead calling the timeout. Just a little bit of strategic. Just a little bit of strategic
you got to play
there.
it safe. You know, you never know what Franklin's going to throw at you. If you don't like your look, then, you know, take a timeout, make sure you got it. You're not really necessarily going to need your timeouts when you're trying to bleed the clock. You're not trying to stop it. So I like the timeout there, just making sure everything's set. You know, the last thing you want is Franklin to recover something and make it a one-score game. So
9:24 currently the time here at Siderwitz Field. 6:08 left to go on the clock as Franklin gets ready to kick us off, possibly for an onside kick, maybe even for an actual kick away.
Looks like the Artesians is going to change that hands team a little bit. You got a couple guys farther back. I like this look a little bit better.
Grady Gardner now a little bit back, along with Landon Casey, who's all the way back, as it looks like they will pooch it a little bit, forcing the Artesians to pick it up.
Looks like there was a flag called. So the the Grizzly Cubs will have to re-kick this. I'm not sure what the penalty was on. I think they might have jumped off a little bit there. But nevertheless, they will re-kick this. Again, they tried a little pooch kick just over the line of scrimmage. Let's see if they are going to try that again. They're going to kick this a little farther, and that one could potentially pin the Artesians deep. And what a kick.
That is a terrible kick there for the Artesians as they go down around the 10. Definitely not what you'd love to see here in a late game. 6:06 left to go, but not the end of the world.
No,
Still,
what a kick there from Myers. I mean, he just booted that thing right where he wanted it. It fell right around that 10-yard line. So 6:06 remaining here in this fourth quarter. It appears to be our our crowd mic is history. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I'm not sure we're going to have it the rest of the night. So I guess me and you got to bring the energy to them. The crowd's not going to help us here.
Nope, our 258 continuous viewers right now, we thank you all for watching this beloved live stream of ours, both from Franklin and from Martinsville. We hope you've enjoyed it so far. 6:06 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we could have a lot in store. You know, again, a two-score ball game. Grizzly Cubs get a stop here. This could get interesting. Again, Artesians really snapping this almost from their own backfield here, own end zone.
And it looks like Chase Davis definitely conversing with Coach Duggar here, just trying to find the right combination of trickery to fool this Franklin team as it has in previous plays. And it looks like it will just be a handoff to Dewey, who plows forward through this Franklin defense, getting to around a 2nd and 5 at around the 15.
Whew, shout out to the big fellas up front. They just created a massive hole for Dewey, and he just following the big dudes. You know, you follow them, and you're probably going to be protected, you know, quite a bit. And when you got big dudes in front of you blocking, I'll tell you 9 times out of 10, I'm going to follow them out every step of the way.
And so it'll be another handoff over here to Dewey.
Uh-oh.
And it looks like it will be a fumble.
Oh, my gosh.
What a disastrous play here for this Martinsville Artesian team, as it looks like it will be a fumble. Oh, my goodness. What late game drama we have in store for us.
Yeah, this is getting interesting here. We've known Dewey's had some trouble holding on to that football, and right there, not sure what happened. It must have got punched out because that one went right into the Franklin defender's hand, and now the Grizzly Cubs have it at the 9-yard line.
5:20 here. Martinsville still did take some time off the clock, albeit not too much or not as much as they'd like. 1st and 10 at the 10 in the shadow of Martinsville's end zone. Hopefully the defense can either come away with a big play here or less risk giving up a free touchdown, as it looks like
Tante's your guy. I mean, he's the guy. He's going to get the ball probably every play of this drive. And right there, try to get the edge. Didn't get it. But if I'm the Grizzly Cubs, you got to pick up the tempo. You got 5 minutes left, but if the Artesians are going to have a chance at the ball again, they're going to try to run some clock. So if I'm the Grizzly Cubs, you got to score, and you got to score quick.
People now sprinting on and off the field in cycles as the Artesians just try and stop Tante here from reaching the end zone, as it looks like he will be stopped short that time. A possible 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. 3rd and 1. Definitely not a great position for this Artesian team to be in, as it looks like they'll just stack the box for this one. Trying to stop Tante. And it looks like they will not stop him. He reaches the end zone again for another Franklin Community touchdown. And now, within a single score, this game could be flipped on its head.
Yeah, it was a beautiful cut there from Tante. Didn't have much on the edge, but he just put his foot down, cut right up the middle, able to get it in the end zone. And now we have a one-score ball game here at Sidowitz Field. The tensions are pretty high.
And if I'm Coach Duggar, I would have to be livid, because you've given up so many points so far in the 3rd and the 4th quarters, when usually you are the comeback kids. You are the ones who turn it up late in the game or later in the game. And so far, you've just been allowing touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And now you got to be thinking Duggar's laying into them to tighten up, lock up, and just lock down this offense.
And credit to Franklin. They were down 35-7 in this ball game coming at halftime, and they've clawed their way back. And they got it now within a score. You can see the student section over there. They're pumped. They're ready to go. I mean, the Artesian offense they can determine the fate here. You get a couple first downs, you bleed this clock out, and this thing's over. But if you get stopped and this Franklin defense comes up with a couple big stops, this could be interesting.
And even if this Franklin team comes up with a disastrous fumble like last drive, or maybe even an interception off Chase Davis, that would really turn the tides here, as not only would they prevent any more clock from being lost, they would also have a chance to maybe potentially go for 2 and put themselves over this Artesian lead.
And if you call all the way back and you got the chance to go for 2, I say you go for it. You call it all the way back, things are rolling. Take that momentum and try to go for 2. But first things first, Artesians got to recover this onside kick, most likely. Maybe they're going to pooch it. They might send it back to the end zone like they did the last time. But you got to be careful and ready for anything.
And now Alex Myers getting ready for another punt here.
Yeah, he's had his work cut out for him today.
And it looks like it will be another short kind of punt, and it will be a fair catch that time from number 3, Reese Wolf.
So you got 4:26 to go. You're up to score. Of course, you had Lucas Dewey, had the rough fumble last time that gave the ball back to the Grizzly Cubs. But the one thing that Lucas Dewey's going to do, he's never going to hang his hat. Even if you have a rough fumble and they score and you're only down or you're only up a touchdown, Lucas Dewey wants the ball. It doesn't matter if he makes 3 mistakes. He wants the ball again. He's not going to hang his hat. One thing that's really special about that guy is it doesn't matter how down he is. He's going to keep going and keep working at it. He's never going to quit. And wouldn't be surprised if number 8 is going to get the ball a lot here, just because of how much trust this coaching staff has in him. Even when you do make a mistake, you can come back and be careful of this ball.
Like it will be a little bit of a bubble pass there for Landon Casey as he trips forward a little bit, just short of the first down, I believe. Maybe a 2nd and 1 or a 2nd and inches.
Yeah, this is just taking what's given. Franklin's loading up the box right now, and they're expecting run. You're going to give it to Dewey and try to waste the clock, of course, but then just when we think that's going to happen, the Artesians, they see they got numbers out wide. They just give it to Casey on a little out route. Right there, Casey knows where the sticks are, just gets the first down. He was lucky he got tripped up because, man, he was about to turn the corner.
Those look like they will be stalling here a little bit, the Artesians.
Yeah, no need. Again, no need to go quick here. They're not going to snap this till it's under 5 seconds every time.
And a nice snap there, given immediately to Lucas Dewey, who rumbles forward for about 3 yards off the rip.
It looks like he got kind of tripped up there. But here we're at the point where you're getting 40 seconds off the clock every time now. So each play you do that, you're going to get one step closer to draining this clock. So a couple more first downs. Franklin's going to have to start calling their timeouts. And if the Artesians can keep controlling the line of scrimmage, keep getting some big bodies moved up front, they can start to melt this clock even more.
And Chase Davis going for it a little early as they immediately guess Landon Casey has it, and he gets tackled for a massive loss, that time by Franklin Community.
Yeah, that's a great play from Franklin. They read it from the beginning. The Artesians thought they had numbers over there, but they flew to the football really well, and now you got a 3rd and long. You got a 3rd and long. The clock will continue to roll. Looks like Franklin's going to call a timeout.
And a timeout by Franklin here, definitely a pivotal point in the game, as if the Artesians cannot pick this up, they will really start to feel the heat on the defensive end and have to lean on their defense to get a clutch stop.
And they will, and right now Coach Duggar is probably going to go deep in the playbook here. What do you want to call? You don't want to call something that could be a travesty, that maybe an interception or something like that, but then again, you want to try to get the first down here, whether that be on a trick play or maybe you just try a screen pass or maybe, you just run the ball to get the clock running and see what happens. But you're not in 4-down territory, I wouldn't think, at this point, unless you pick up a lot of yards here. But it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to lean towards on this playbook. Again, momentum sort of seeming like it's on Franklin's side right now, and everything's going their way. Can the Artesians catch a break here on a 3rd and long? Let's see, ball on the 36-yard line. 3rd and 11.
And Chase Davis looks like he will be throwing it. Gets pressured early, and it looks like an incompletion that time from Chase Davis. Sets them up pretty poorly here with a 4th and 11.
That's just not what you want to see. You don't want to see the clock stop, especially off an incomplete pass. You don't gain anything and you stop the clock. You help Franklin out. So 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Buckle up, Quinn. This could get interesting. Grizzly Cubs down 1 score. They've crawled all the way back from down 35-7, and now they are touchdown away from tying this thing up.
And a nice punt there from Rollins, just pinning them all the way back in their own side of the field around the 37. And it does look like they will have a tough time here. No luck for them this time off of Charlie Rollins' punt.
So if you're the Cubs, you got to go quick. Obviously you got 3 minutes left. You got, I believe, 1 timeout remaining. So you can stop the clock 1 time, so you got to go semi-quick. You got a fast guy in Tante that's been getting the rock a lot, and if he breaks free, he could be gone. If you're the Artesians, got to keep that number 41 in front of you. You got to keep him in front of you. Don't let him get loose. Don't let anything get behind you, and you just got to
basically have to watch that defense around the edges and around the outside. Get your corners, get your linebackers ready to run.
Yeah.
To try and stop Tante from any big yards.
I think 41's touched the ball in the last 20 plays. I don't think he's gotten a break, so I expect to see him the rest of the game.
I don't think there's been a single play where Tante hasn't been involved. And speaking of the man, the myth, the legend himself, he rumbles forward for about a 1 to 2 yard gain that time.
And you're going to see that a lot. He's going to get the ball right up the middle. Just maybe try to get him in space as well. You just gotta flow to the football. You gotta make good tackles because he's going to try to make you miss, and he'll do it a lot.
Look like Franklin Community is burning a lot of time here.
You got to think. You got to go into some sort of turbo mode. You got to maybe take out the huddle and let's start going quick tempo. 2:30 to go.
And a little trickery there as Betts is
now
now pressured as he tries to throw one away, but that might just be a little bit out of his receiver range.
Yeah, smart play there from Betts. You don't have anything. You don't try to make something crazy because you really don't have it open. So just throw it out of bounds, stop the clock, but at least they're down. You got a 3rd and 8. You're down by 7. You got 2:20 to go. You're in 4-down territory at this point, so you don't got to pick it up all here. You got to have a couple plays. You got to think, do they give it to number 41 twice in a row? I see Blake Smith over there on the sideline. Looks like he had a chance of coming in, but I don't think he will. So here we go. Are they going to air it out? The play clock's at 2. They're probably not going to get it snapped. They will and just give it to Tante.
And it looks like it will be a Tante run who just breaks free in the secondary, having to come in clutch here as the offensive line rumbles forward, pushing him forward right around to the 40-yard line. Tante just forcing his way forward.
Man. I mean, you thought they wouldn't even get a playoff, and they just snapped the ball, just give it to 41. He'll make something happen. Right there, Tante somehow just powering up the middle.
He's been almost Superman-esque in this play and in this game in its entirety. There's just no way you can stop him. As it looks like Betts will be pressured again,
Got a lot
rolling
of
out
room.
to his left, getting a little bit of a rush there for about 3 or 4 yards, running out of bounds with 1:58 left on the clock.
Smart play from Betts there. You stop the clock, you pick up about half the stick. So he's making a lot of smart plays here down the stretch.
And these last 2 minutes always feel longer than that, don't
Oh,
they,
man.
Braxton?
You better buckle up. This is going to be a long 1 minute and 58 seconds, I'll tell you that. Again, Artesian defense, you just can't give up a touchdown. You know, you got to hold them for 2 minutes. They got one timeout. Hold them for 2 minutes. You'll come away with the dub here.
And it does look like they'll be loading up the edge that time. But
They're gonna
it
take
looks
a
like Betts
shot.
is trying to take a shot that's way, way outside of his tight end's range. Number 87, Austin Green, may have been a target for that one, but it was just way, way over that time by
I'm
Betts.
not sure if it was a miscommunication. He didn't run the right route, but yeah, he kind of threw that in no man's land. So we're stuck here in another 3rd and about 6.
But let's see if they go to the man of the hour or if they try to
You gotta
stick
think
it
they
with
do.
someone new.
If I'm Coach Cole, give it to 41. He's the one that's been making everything work thus far, and they will.
But I would be watching the edges. Martinsville nearly getting him for a tackle for loss that time, but they do catch up with him before he gets a first down, and it looks like a 4th and about 3.
And this is your ball game. You get the first down, you stay alive. You don't, this game
could very well be the nail in the coffin.
And it will be if Franklin calls a timeout right now, which I think they did.
That
We
will
might
be
have
their
a hurt
last
player.
time out of the game. It does look like someone was just taking a knee. However, no hurt players for an Artesian or
So
Franklin on the
that
field.
timeout there, it's over. If you don't get a first down, it's over. Franklin can't stop the clock. But
If you don't get a first down here, it's victory formation until the end of the game.
and even if you do, you get a tie or you do get a first down, you can't stop the clock anymore. So you got a minute 30.
You essentially have to
and
spike
counting.
the ball and waste 2 downs.
Yeah. So we'll see what they do here. Again, you got to get a yard to stay alive. I would be absolutely shocked if we don't see 4-1 get a touch here. If I'm the Artesians, load up that box. You gotta think you know what's coming. These fans, you can see the band. They're ready. Minute 39 to go. 4th and a long one, maybe 2.
And it looks like they're trying to get people to jump off sides right now. But they do hand it off to number 41, Tante. And he breaks off down the sideline and is tackled at around the 13-yard line. And these Artesian fans starting to get a little worried now with 1:34 left to go.
Everyone on the edge of their seats, including us. Right now, what a beautiful run there from Tante. He just carrying this team on his back right now.
I mean, there's just a very slim chance that we are living in the reality we are now. But let's see if Franklin can complete the comeback. As it looks like it will be another handoff to Tante.
Tante will be short, so the clock will continue to run. You're not necessarily too worried about the clock at this point. You got a minute 20 to get it in the end zone, and you got 3 plays to do it. Now, if I'm the Artesians, do you think about maybe calling a timeout just in case the Grizzly Cubs get in the end zone here and you have some time?
And it is another handoff to Tante, who rumbles forward
Wow.
and gets the touchdown. Comeback alert in Ciderwitz Field. 42-41. Will they go for the 2-point conversion to try and get this lead? Or will they stick it with the 1-point
They will.
conversion?
They're going for 2 here. And this could be the ball game.
This will be for ball game.
Oh, wow. Again, there will be some clock. Nevertheless, whatever happens here will be our game. Coach Cole going to roll the dice.
And Ciderwitz Field getting on their feet for this 2-point conversion. No doubt what you need to see, as it looks like there is a stoppage of time here. Duggar calling a timeout.
I think Duggar called a timeout. I think Tante just took a knee, man. He is dead tired. He has just been putting himself at work tonight. He's just been doing everything for this Franklin team tonight. But, man, what a game we have. You had you're up by 35-7. They climb all the way back, and we have a 1-point game, and Franklin going to roll the dice and try to win this thing.
I would hope we aren't playing Plainfield yet, Braxton, as that would mean the end of the football season and the end of our commentating pair.
So again, a 1-point ball game. Franklin can tie it with an extra point, but they are electing to go for 2. Coach Cole, his best play, he's probably going to run it right here. Artesian defense 1 stop away from getting this win. Oh, are they kicking it? No, they don't. I don't see Tante out there. It's an interesting formation.
And it does look like Betts will flip it out to the outside. A trick play, tries to catch it.
He didn't catch it. Oh, my gosh.
Incomplete.
What a trick play attempt from the Grizzly Cubs. They tried.
A trick play over to Cole Bowker is incomplete. And your Martinsville Artesians, I think, are about to officially salt this one away in victory formation. 42-41. What a nail biter we had today, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, what a game. What a game right there. You try the reverse. And you try the old, I mean, it was looking kind of like the Philly special. And they do a little reverse. You got to try the guy rolling out in the end zone. And they had a chance at it, but couldn't get it.
And what just a heartbreaking loss here for Franklin today. Just Cole Bowker was wide open. The safeties were not watching him whatsoever. But the pass is just a little short thanks to some pressure by that Artesian D-line sneaking through the Franklin offensive line. And
shout out to Coach Cole there. After the play, one of the Franklin defenders had a couple choice words that he said to the ref that initiated the flag, and Coach Cole let him hear it. You know, win or lose, he's going to go out with class. And right there, you love to see your head coach making sure your players
everybody knows that you got to play
win
with
or
class.
loss. Yeah, you got to play with class. And Coach Cole, the man of class right there, holding his players to the highest standard. But how about these Artesians? Huge win tonight. They
I wouldn't call it a win yet, Braxton.
Yeah, you got to recover it.
We still got a boot. We still got a pooch opportunity.
That's a great point, Quinn. This game, you got it. You know you're going to get an onside kick. If not, maybe a pooch. But
it'd have to be the pooch of all pooches.
Yeah. I think 44 for Franklin. Let's see what number that is. That is Keelan Feeler. Is going to be an absolute headhunter here to try to tackle somebody. All you got to do is fair catch it and catch it.
And there it is.
So the Artesians will escape with a win when things just got interesting. I mean, it was 35-7. You look up, and we got a 1-point ball game. Nevertheless, Artesians, they survived the scare, and they will beat the Grizzly Cubs 42-41. What a game we had here at Ciderwoods Field, Quinn. It was a fun one to call.
Definitely a great win here for this Artesian team. And despite choking away the lead in the later quarters, still an emphatic win after such a loss to Decatur last week.
It is big. You know, you have a loss like that, and, you know, Coach Duggar kind of talked to the team after the game. He said that was embarrassing. Obviously, you lose by that much. It's embarrassing, but he kind of flipped the script and said, look at Decatur last year. You know, we were down 35-7, and then we came back and won. That was pretty embarrassing for Decatur. So, and Decatur went on to win the state. So, you know, you kind of flip the script there. The Artesians, an embarrassing loss last week. They can flip the script, you know, maybe go on a run and even have a shot at state here. But nevertheless, Artesians come away with a huge win tonight, bouncing back from their loss from last week. And how about these fans showing out tonight? They're on their feet.
A great supportive fan base. Not much more you could want from them. And that will do it at Ciderwitz Field. The Artesians win 42-41 after an emphatic nail-biter.
What a game.
For the rest of the RTV2 class and my broadcast partner, Braxton Dilly, I'm Quinn Sparenblick, and good night, everyone.